2020. Switched to the Republican Party in 2020.
He's like the heir to the Swanson Foods. Or his mother was or something. He's big money. We're going to get a game in the Carolina-New Jersey series that's worth watching.
Don't know.
How about the Utah woman that wrote the book on grief after she got charged with her husband's death?
I was going to say, wrote the book on grief after the death of her husband, who apparently she killed. Hello. Does that make the book an expert account or ironic? You decide. Did you see Georgia said they can't make the White House visit?
Yeah.
Scheduling conflict.
What I find interesting is that they're basically having one ceremony for all the colleges, with the exception of the LSU and Connecticut men's basketball team, or the two basketball teams get their own. Everybody else is being huddled in for a one-day thing.
Well, right. Connecticut and LSU have something like late May, but I thought Georgia was supposed to get their own, or no? That was them with others?
Hang on. The White House is hosting an event for NCAA championship teams on June 12th.
Oh, gotcha.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How's your week going? Let's get over the hump together, shall we? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Mark, how is your week going? How are you?
It's been a busy week. Lots going on, but a good week. You know, I mean, the routine just keeps going, David. Softball, soccer, gymnastics.
Well,
Hunt.
the school year's ending soon. I mean, when do these seasons end?
Never, David. They never end.
No, they get extended. Then there's the summer team, and then we'll break off, and we can do this separate gymnastics thing. That'll be another $100, but we'll go and we'll have this one meet on Saturday. It'll all be worth it. 4 more weeks of practice. What do you say?
That's basically it. Softball's got a week and a half left. Everything else just doesn't seem to end.
Please tell me there are no playoffs. I mean, when you're not even 10 years old yet, there should not be playoffs.
That's funny, David. We have the regular season finale on Friday and then the best of 3 next week against the only other team in our league. We haven't played them enough, so 3 more games against the Tigers is just what the doctor ordered.
How about you play 3 halves in one day? Okay, and if some team wins the first 2 halves, you don't even play the third. Just call it a day. What do you say? Best of 3? What is this? The NBA in the early 80s? What?
Don't know what to tell you, David. What I do is I show up when I'm told to show up. I don't complain to anybody. I don't ask any questions. I just show up when I'm told to show up.
Is this the first round of the baseball playoffs? 3 against 6, 4 against 5? What?
It's the first and only round of the softball playoffs, 1 against 2.
Yeah, but you guys have been locked into the 2 seed for a while.
For what seems to be months, David.
Oh, man. Have to admit, if I'm the 1 seed and I lose 2 out of 3 to you guys, I might protest. So, we've got a 17-game lead in the standings. I really think we should be declared the champion.
As long as they have the right dugout, that's all that matters.
And the pitching machine. Tired of using yours.
Yeah, don't use the other team's pitching machine and get the dugout in the shade. That's all that matters, David.
Well, that is kind of like home field advantage in college football. You put the visitors in the sun. Now you guys go over there. Sun sets behind us. You guys will be in the sun all day. Okay. All right. I guess. Miller and Moulton with Florida Sports Network, FloridaSportsNetwork.com. I don't want to say that I don't get fired up for our guests, because I do. They help make the show. And we're very appreciative of anyone and everyone who comes on the show. But I'm actually kind of fired up for our 8 o'clock guest today. Not because I want to make news. I just want to get some answers. Pat Williams is going to join us. Help bring the magic to Orlando. He's written about 174 books. Has raised millions of dollars for charitable causes. He and his wife adopted a bunch of kids. He's a remarkable human being. All right. And he's trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando, which is not new, Mark. We interviewed him when he literally first was saying this out loud publicly 4 years ago. And we've had Pat on our shows together and separately for damn near the entire time we've both been in Florida. But now he's got specifics. He's got location, dollar amount. You guys pay for this. We'll pay for this. What do you say? Let's do this. Oh, really? Okay. Well, let's talk about it. I don't, 4 years ago, it was a concept. It was, hey, I really think Orlando could have a Major League Baseball team. Okay, Pat, thanks for joining us. Now it's like, you mean you talked to the county? The county is actually maybe going to give you guys $1 billion? Really? Okay.
Don't you need a team?
Well, it's one of the things I want to ask them. Like, they built the Trop without a team. Back in the day, 30 plus years ago, St. Pete built the Trop without a team. Now, the first team that looked as if it was going to be a resident, I think, was the White Sox, followed closely by the Giants. The Giants was apparently close to happening until McGowan, who owned the Giants, said, you know what? The hell with it. I'm going to buy the land and I'm going to build my own stadium privately. I'm going to keep the team here. By the way, I'm keeping all the money. And it's worked out really well for the Giants as a franchise. And eventually, obviously, Tampa Bay got the then Devil Rays, an expansion team. Pat Williams has said, we're going to build this stadium, a dome, by the way. 45,000 seats is the plan, 1.7 billion. By SeaWorld's Aquatica Park there, which I'm trying to figure out what exit is that. It's like 71, right off I-4? So at Disney 64 and Amelie's 82 and the Turnpike's like 77. So I guess that's where it is. Okay. We'll confer that also with Pat. But he said, listen, we got two options. Expansion, hey, come on now. Top 25 city in the country, population. It's not like we don't have a bunch. I mean, if you're putting franchises in Vegas, why the hell wouldn't you put one in Orlando?
Yeah, don't they have this proximity thing? It's a little close to the Tampa franchise.
Yes.
I have more questions than I have answers.
Yeah, well, yes, it's why I'm excited to have him on. That's a legitimate question because, as you and I have talked about many times, if Atlanta has always said we are going to put the kibosh on Charlotte, well, that's a 4-hour drive. Can't imagine Stu Sternberg wants a team in Orlando, right? Even if they stay in St. Pete and it's 100 highway miles away. I can't imagine Stu Sternberg wants a team in Orlando, right?
Correct.
But Pat Williams has also said, hey, we could also be the place where the Rays end up. So one of the questions you will have for him, I believe, is, so are we just building this sucker without a team? Or are you going to get all the financing available? You're going to have the shovel right there by the door in the office, and you're just waiting to hear from Sternberg or Major League Baseball. Which is it? And don't laugh, the Oakland A's. That's also what I want to ask him about. I go, would you take another team? Because what's to prevent? Listen, I don't know if the city of Oakland's ever going to do business with this owner again. I mean, he announced his Las Vegas thing. They didn't then desperately go, oh, no, wait, we can make this work. They stuck their middle finger up at the current owner and said, well, we're done with you. We're done. Good luck making that Vegas thing work, by the way. And if the financing doesn't work, don't call us back, by the way. We ain't giving you squat. You're a blankety blank. So if you're that guy, would you move it to Orlando?
David, I don't think anyone can move a team to Orlando with the Rays where they are. I don't know how that happens with the territorial rights that a team possesses to a market. That's the biggest hurdle to me they have to get over.
Well, obviously, if they're awarded an expansion franchise, that will have been taken care of beforehand. I agree with you. It seems as if the Rays would object and that would fall within the whole territorial thing. But remember, we have the Orioles and the Nats. And Major League now, it's also been a business cluster blank. And the Nats have been screwed out of a lot of money because Major League Baseball, to get the Orioles to relent and let the team move there, they own all their TV money, basically.
And as it's pointed out in our Twitch chat room, the other question I have for Pat is, why does he think a third Major League Baseball team in Florida would work when the other two, quite frankly, have not?
So there you go. And I'm guessing he's going to say, yeah, Orlando's a little different.
Right, it's smaller.
It's got a lot more visitors who are ready to spend money. I will say this, Mark, Orlando or Vegas. I mean, if Major League Baseball is willing, and they're more than willing, they're endorsing a team moving to Vegas. And I don't know if, by the way, that's going to be an indoor or an outdoor stadium or retractable roof stadium. We haven't heard any specifics about what they're building in Vegas. All right. This is going to be a dome in Orlando. I mean, it's not like we're lacking visitors.
I know, to go to theme park. Look, this to me is, visitors don't go to sporting events typically. At least in my experience, I've worked in tourist markets. Now, again, albeit I was trying to sell minor league hockey. It wasn't the major leagues. But I worked in two big tourist markets. Tourists don't come to those markets. I worked in Nashville. They didn't come to Nashville to go to hockey games. They came to Nashville to see the country music scene.
Right. I hear you. But now that when you come to Nashville to spend 4 or 5 days, do you think there's a possibility that if they get a baseball team that you could get somebody to check out a game, or they've got hockey? How many people, when they come to Nashville for 3-4 days, do they say, well, why don't we take in a hockey game while we're here? Especially if they're on business. I don't know. I don't know. I will just say, listen, the argument against Orlando of, hey, attendance-wise, it ain't working in St. Pete and Miami. Why the heck should we think it works in Orlando? I'll back you guys up on that one. I'll also back the city of Orlando up and go, yeah, we're Vegas only east. Okay, in terms of visitors. I mean, if you think it's working, think it's going to work in Vegas, why wouldn't it work here? So just a thought. So Pat Williams going to join us 8:00. These are legit questions, aren't they?
I hope so, because if not, he's going to get a lot of illegitimate questions.
Huh.
I'd rather stick with legit questions.
Well, but you know what I mean, legit questions. They're fair. We don't have the guest hanging up the phone going, can't believe I gave those yahoos 12 minutes.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
These are big deals.
I know.
Well, once a week it's happening.
Ambien. Not only that, the Magic 94% capacity is what they played to this year. Well, the NBA had a great attendance year.
And that's a great year for Orlando because they were a bad team.
The Wizards played to the lowest capacity. The Wizards played to 84% capacity. Magic were 15th in attendance, just behind Golden State. Nine teams played to 100 or more percent capacity, including the Heat. Well, Arch, I don't disagree. I don't think that Orlando would be in Major League Baseball's top two. Remember the Cavs post LeBron when they were in the lottery and Daniel Gilbert kept bringing his son out?
Yeah.
His son died over the weekend.
Yeah, yesterday or the day before. Yeah.
26
yesterday.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Let's get over the hump together, shall we? Hope your week's going well, pretty well. Good show lined up for you today. Pat Kirwan, Seth Everett, in between the two, Pat Williams, who's trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando. We've got questions. He usually has answers. Well, we said it yesterday. There's a few Boston fans who listen to the show. They comment through the text line at 21,000, the Twitch chat room, Miller and Moulton Twitch.tv channel. They don't like it when we point out facts. Like, for whatever reason, in the last couple years, 2.5 years even, Celtics do not really have a home court advantage in the playoffs. Heading into last night, they'd been 7-8 in their last 15 home playoff games. After last night, they're 9-10 in their last 19 home playoff games. You know, Embiid had yet to have an MVP-like performance. He picked a hell of a time to have it. Game 5 on the road. Sixers a game away from a place they haven't been in 22 years.
And the Celtics came out just ice cold, couldn't make a thing.
And never really had that, run in which you thought, oh, okay, all right, they found themselves. They're back.
Anytime they did, they had one run in the third, got answered really quickly by Boston. They had one run in the second, answered really quickly by the Sixers, rather. I mean, Boston had two little runs, but they were answered immediately.
And obviously, Philly led by Doc Rivers, who led the Celtics to their last championship. But ever since, can't coach. That's the word on Doc Rivers. Can't coach. Great guy, can't coach. Well, he's a game away from the conference finals. I think Boston was in this spot last year, Mark. Second round against Milwaukee. Lost game 5 at home. Had to go to Milwaukee. Beat the defending NBA champs. Did it. 1-7. Had to go on the road last year. Win a game 7 in Miami to advance to the NBA finals. Did it. They've won some big road games. They better tomorrow night, or it's over. It's over. How about a little Philly-Miami Eastern Conference final, huh?
Not so fast, my friends. Let this series end first, because I don't think Boston's done yet.
All right. Philadelphia has not. They were tied with Toronto 4 years ago when Toronto won the title. In the second round, the series was 3-3. But Philly had to win game 6 to force a game 7 that year. And last year, they were 2-2 with the Heat. Got blown out in game 5.
Yeah, both of their last two game 5s at 2-2, they got whooped.
Right. Lost by like 35 and 39, something like that. Right. Harden said, hey, I'm not getting any younger and I'm not going to get any skinnier, okay? Embiid said, yeah, I'm not getting any younger either. How about we do this? Especially since the word is you're going to Houston. What the heck are you doing that for?
They're on 30 more from Tyrese Maxey, by the way.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why this series isn't over to me. He made 6 threes last night.
Right.
I mean, come on now. And that's my guy. You know, I'm a big Felipe and I talk about all the time. Maxey's one of my favorite players in the league. I just love the way the guy plays. I really enjoy his game. He ain't making 6 threes in game 6.
Or Tatum. He had 36 points and they lost.
Yeah, he shot horribly.
Yeah, he also had like 74 shots. So, tell you what, though, it's weird to see a team, seemingly not show up in a big spot. And we've had a decent amount of that throughout. I mean, last night, even in hockey, a team down 2-1 in a series didn't show up. It's like, what the heck? What are you waiting for?
They certainly could be accused of taking a period off, because Jersey was right there in the first. They give up, 4 goals in 5 minutes there. That game gets out of hand quickly. Philadelphia took it to Boston from the word go.
Phoenix, Denver went back and forth a little bit. Denver early, Phoenix in the middle, got it close. Denver said, okay, we'll take it from here.
Boston essentially had no one guarding Joel Embiid last night because Al Horford was awful.
Well, and he made up for it offensively by going 0 for 7.
Right.
So,
0 points.
Right.
Really
so,
bad for the guy.
Coach, no, I got this. I can't stop him, and I'm not making any shots. Keep me in. Come on, coach. Give me a chance. Right. Do the Heat and Panthers get it done tonight? Jimmy Butler stopped just short of a guarantee. Just short. He was working his way to it. And then he basically said, I like our chances. As well you should. I mean, their record when he plays in the playoffs, first off, their playoff record in and of itself is really good. But when he plays, it's even better. So, Heat and Panthers tonight. They can advance to the conference finals. It'd be just the second time ever for the Panthers.
I have trouble thinking the Panthers will sweep, but then again, why wouldn't they?
Yeah. Hey, you're on a roll. You're on a roll. Why not? Listen, in hockey, I mean, 3-0s never happened in basketball. It's at least happened 4 times in hockey. And it's happened twice in the last 15 years. So, if you're Florida, hey, we've talked about it. Bobrovsky can be great, and he can be Swiss cheese. So just get it over with. Because you never know when, the worm's going to turn here.
And with the style they've been playing, they've been so physical, it's easier to end it when you play that style, if you know what I mean. Easier to take the heart away from a team that's trying to come back from 3-0. Get a lead and keep pounding them.
And also the Heat style is a great road style. Everybody knows their role. When in doubt, give it to Jimmy Butler and get them out of the way. And defensively, well, you have no choice. You're the Miami Heat. So can the Heat and Panthers get it done tonight? And is this the end of an era tonight? I mean, I think the Warriors are going to win and win comfortably. But they are facing elimination. They are facing LeBron and the Lakers, who since the All-Star break have been one of the top 4 teams in the league. And if you go to the trade deadline, their record's even better than that.
I love Golden State tonight.
Would you lay the 7?
Yes.
Okay. Look at you. By the way, I'm shocked at the line in the Knicks Heat game. Shocked.
Knicks a slight favorite?
3.5. How could you make them a favorite? How? They barely won a game in this series, and that was when Butler didn't play. How can you make them favored at all? I don't want to sound like Lee Sterling here, but wrong team favored tonight. I got to play the Heat in the Garden.
So there's a little bit of what's going on tonight, a little bit of what happened last night. We'll get to all of the rest that happened last night with the starting 5 that's coming up on the other side. As David had mentioned earlier, we have a terrific show lined up for you today. Pat Kirwan, Seth Everett, Pat Williams, all to join us on the show today. The starting 5 is next. Thank you so much for listening right here. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Al Horford turns 37, Paul, in 3 weeks. Adam, in 1980, all 4 Philadelphia teams played for the championship in the same season. So the Sixers and the Flyers both lost the championship in the spring of 1980. Now, Embiid, I think, is 29. Morning, Spitz. In 94, the Knicks and the Rangers were playing for a championship at the same time. In the same building.
Four brown chicken. Why, you got a fifth?
Yeah.
Damn.
Does it take away from the... No, I mean, don't get me wrong, RCB. People are still going to get fired, but I mean, they had to, at the very least, they had to get that monkey off their back. We did for a week, Mongo. The owners who own the Michigan Sports Radio Network own us. Well, they own the network. They don't own the show. We own the show. And we filled in for a week. It's about a year ago, actually. Their morning show guy took a week off, and they put us on. And I guess he was on at the time, he was on in 6 markets, 5 in Michigan and Toledo. So
Speaking of which, we probably need to contact Marty or him, don't we, about July?
or let them know. But yes. Yeah. And then say, hey, we're not doing best ofs, by the way. I am heading to Jersey Thursday, July 20th. It's up to you. You want to do a show on Friday the 21st? I mean, I can bring the equipment and do it.
Your call.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd prefer not to take the equipment, not do the show, but
there you go.
But so, if we take the week of the 3rd off, then we come back, we do a week, we come back, we do 4 days, and we take a Friday the 21st off.
Okay.
We can do a best of for the 21st.
Yep. And a best of for the 4th.
Okay.
Hopefully Michigan guy can do 4 shows.
Or you just instruct all the affiliates to flip a switch.
Right.
I mean, I don't see why,
I know, but to run spots and things like that,
yeah, well, that's true.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Kirwan, an hour from now. During the off season, which is 3 months for Pat. I mean, it's not for him. It's for us. Our characterization of what Pat Kirwan's off season is. It's the next 3 months where he does 1 appearance a week, and we move it to right smack dab in the middle of the week, Wednesday. It'll normally be at 8. Today, it's 7:30-ish. So Pat
I
Kirwan,
like that 7:30 time, by the way.
Okay. All right. If you want, we can keep it.
It's a little longer segment.
Yeah, 2-3 minutes longer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you want, we can keep it. He's up.
Well, I know he's up, and I also know that, for us, a little behind the scenes, the 7 o'clock hour, harder to book guests than the 8 o'clock hour.
That is true. Yeah, okay.
So to have one locked in basically has your Wednesdays are done for the summer. Little Pat, little Seth, anything else comes up, bada bing, bada boom.
Like today, Pat Williams, who's trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando, he will join us at 8. And then, as Mark so eloquently put it, I guess our bada boom guest is Seth, 8:30-ish.
He's going to be in a foul mood today.
Oh, yeah. He will have surrendered. Series over. Okay. That's okay. We beat the Rangers. That's his fallback. That's it. That's okay. We beat the Rangers.
The year of premature celebrations. Apparently, the Leafs won the cup after they took out the Lightning.
Right.
The Devils won the cup after they took out the Rangers.
Correct.
And both are on the verge of getting bounced.
Right. Winning combined a total of 1 game in the next round. Correct. Things move fast in the playoffs.
And like you said, you lose in the first round. And this, I know from working for teams. You lose in the first round, whatever. Once you win in the first round,
you can win the cup. Right. You can.
Doesn't mean that you think you're going to win. It nothing close to that. But you get through that first round, all of a sudden everything changes.
Right.
The entire mood of an organization changes when you win a first round.
Once you're on the good end of the handshake line, you think, this is how it's going to be. They wait for us to do the handshakes. Maybe not. Time now for
The Starting 5. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
In Philadelphia, is it time? Joel Embiid said, I'm the MVP. and I'm going to put on an MVP-like performance. And he was the best player on the floor. And that's saying something. There's a lot of good guys on that floor last night. But Embiid at 33 dominated the game from the beginning. Tyrese Maxey said, big fella, I'm open. They're all trying to guard you. He hit 6 threes and scored 30. Harden with nearly a triple-double. Tell you what, James Harden looked like a pretty damn good point guard last night.
That's what happens when everybody's making shots, David. You look really good as a point guard.
Yep, you shoot 50%. Point guard has a good night. 115-103, and trust me, the game wasn't that close. The Sixers were up 21 with 4 minutes to go. Philly leads 3-2. They can wrap it up at home tomorrow night. Man, will that joint be jumping. Sixers haven't been to the conference finals in 22 years. Felipe, were you born May of 01?
I was alive, yeah.
Okay. So basically, in Felipe's lifetime, that's how long it's been since the Sixers are going to where they're on the verge, but Boston was down 3-2 last year in the second round and obviously escaped. Phoenix is facing elimination after Denver handled them last night in the altitude, 118-102. A dominant third quarter, was the difference. Denver outscored Phoenix by 14 in the third quarter to break open a close game. How about this stat line for the guy nobody likes, Jokic, 29 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists. Michael Porter chipped in 5 threes. Then Bruce Brown comes off the bench and scores 25. Phoenix is like, well, what the heck? I got Jokic, I got Porter, I got Murray. We can't handle a Bruce Brown. I mean, what? Like Lonnie Walker's going to score 15 points in the fourth quarter against the Warriors? What's going on? KD and Booker combined for 54. And against Denver, that ain't going to get it done.
Nope, it's got to be 74, David.
There you go, Mark.
It really does.
Yeah. No. This is what Shaq and Barkley said at the beginning. One's got to go for 40, the other 35 every night. And by the way, they're both playing 40-plus minutes tonight. Game 6 tomorrow night in the Valley of the Sun. Did you see, by the way, at the morning shoot-around, the moment between Jokic and the Suns owner?
I did. And it was pretty good. Jokic leaving the court, threw the ball to Ishbia, whatever, however the hell you want to say his name. They shook hands, had a little laugh, and went on with their day.
Exactly. Gave him a ball. Say, here, you want a ball? Here's a ball.
Now, if he'd have picked him up, put him on his shoulders, and let him dunk, that'd have been really funny.
A couple of game 5s tonight. 2 teams can book their trips to the conference finals. Heat, 3.5-point underdog in New York against the Knicks. I think Vegas got this all wrong. Meanwhile, Golden State facing elimination at home. Is the dynasty on the line? 7-point favorites are the Warriors against the Lakers. Be curious to see if this game begins to get out of hand, how much the Lakers invest in trying to salvage it. Or do the Lakers say, we'll give you this one. Give you this one. Put all our eggs in the Friday night basket, thank you, at home. Where the Lakers haven't lost in a while. They've got like a 9-game home court winning streak and haven't lost in the playoffs.
Against the worst team in the playoffs on the road. Based on regular season records, Golden State was awful on the road this year.
An interesting streak also. Remembers, Steph and the Warriors have won at least one road playoff game in every series that he's ever played. That even goes back to 2014 when Mark Jackson was the coach. They lost in the first round to the Clippers, but they won a game in LA in that 7-game series. They've never played a series in which they got skunked on the road. And when push came to shove, they did win 2 in Sacramento last round. NHL, 2 more road teams a winner. Home teams are winning at a 40% clip. 40% clip. They've won 26 of 64 games. Carolina scored 5 in the second, beat New Jersey 6-1. They lead that series 3-1. Dallas scored 4 in the second, doubled up Seattle 6-3. That series tied at 2. Tonight, the Panthers can book a trip to the conference finals, a place they haven't been since 96. Bill Clinton was running against Bob Dole the last time the Florida Panthers booked a trip to the conference finals. Vegas and Edmonton, game 4 tonight in Edmonton. Golden Knights with a 2-1 series lead. The basketball's on TNT. The hockey's on ESPN. Former Orlando Magic owner Pat Williams is asking Orange County for $975 million. Not $1 billion, $975 million. He's saying that he and whoever will come up with the other $725 million. They want to build a $1.7 billion domed stadium, which will hold 45,000 people. They want to build it on 35 acres near SeaWorld. The team right now is named the Orlando Dreamers. Pat Williams has said the name can be changed. It's just a dream. I'm a dreamer. We'll talk to Pat Williams at 8 o'clock about how real is this, and we've got some questions. That's all. Got some questions. Orioles doubled up the Rays 4-2. Adley Rauschman, a 2-run homer in the third, was the big blow in the game.
I don't know what you're going to do. The Rays scored first. They're supposed to win. They're now 22-2 when scoring first, David.
I know. 2 more homers for the Rays last night. We got to start giving Baltimore some grief. Orioles have the 3rd best record in Major League Baseball. Have you seen the crowds for the first 2 games of the Rays series? 12 and change Monday night, 10,017 last night. That's unacceptable. Come on now.
Yeah, they had a good year last year, so it's not like this is out of the blue. The Baltimore fan expecting a little bit this year, so you'd think first place series might be a few folks show up.
Well, and I understand the weather was lousy in the Northeast through April, but it's May. The weather's improved. You got a good team. What the heck? Yankees doubled up Oakland 10-5, but 22-year-old Oakland A's rookie Jordan Diaz with 3 home runs in the Bronx. I think he's the second youngest guy to ever do that at Yankee Stadium. There's been a few guys play there too, Phil's doubled up Toronto 8-4, put the game away with 3 in the 8th. Atlanta took care of Boston 9-3, 4 in the first, pretty much put that one away. They did have to place Max Fried on the IL, though, the Braves. So that bears watching. They're not going to need him to win the division, but they are going to need him. Charlie Morton pitched well for Atlanta last night. Marlins got 2 homers, 5 RBIs from Jorge Soler in a 6-2 win over Arizona. Max Scherzer had his start scratched, Mark. We said you got to bet against Scherzer and the Mets last night. Okay. And if you had, you would have gotten big odds, and then he gets scratched and your bet would have been in. Mets fell behind 7-1. Buck Showalter got ejected for the first time as Mets manager. They lost 7-6. Mookie Betts led off the game with a homer in Milwaukee. Dodgers 6-2 over the Brewers. Cardinals got a 2-run homer from Paul DeJong in the 9th. Beat the Cubs 6-4. Ohtani got outpitched by Framber Valdez. 3-1 Houston over the Angels. First loss of the year for Ohtani. Seattle got to 500 with a 5-0 win over Texas. Cleveland shut out Detroit 2-0. Rosario with 4 hits for the Guardians. Mark, there were nearly 2,000 more fans in Pittsburgh last night than Baltimore. I mean, come on. Pirates lost to Colorado 10-1. White Sox doubled up Kansas City 4-2. They drew 1,200 more people in Kansas City than they did Baltimore. For the White Sox and the Royals, 2 of the 5 worst teams in the league. Do you sense a theme here? San Diego 6-1 over Minnesota. Giants Casey Schmidt, top prospect, called up yesterday. Homered at his second major league at bat, 4-1 over Washington. His family was in the crowd. It was a neat scene. College baseball, North Florida shocked 6th-ranked South Carolina 8-5. NASCAR, no penalty for Ross Chastain or Noah Gragson. So Chastain still leads the points race by 31. The punt god, remember him? Matt Ariza, drafted by the Bills, then was named in an alleged gang rape incident, and the Bills cut him. He said, yeah, I had nothing to do with that. Well, guess what? He was telling the truth. Authorities came out yesterday and said, yeah, he had nothing to do with anything. He wasn't even there. Wonder if anybody will sign him. Matt Ariza. Detroit waived one of the guys who got suspended for gambling, wide receiver Stanley Berryhill. He didn't bet on NFL. He bet on other things, so he's only suspended for 6 games. Schedule released tomorrow night, but you're actually going to get some international games that are going to be leaked out today, and then stuff will be leaked out tomorrow morning on Good Morning America on the Today Show. So, by the way, the word is the Eagles are hosting a game on Christmas. Apparently a triple header on Christmas for the NFL, which is a Monday. And the Eagles get the night game. That's rumors, Mark. It's what I'm hearing. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Find another day, NBA. We're taking over Christmas.
Yeah. Listen, if we stick it to college football, we sure as hell are going to stick it to you.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we don't care. They're ours. If it's during our season, we can play whatever day we want, and you're going to watch.
Yeah. And really terrible games, too. I mean, apparently the word is the Eagles are either going to play the Giants or the Niners. No interest in either one. Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan in about 45 minutes here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Does your wife ever like start a conversation in her head and then like turn to you and say something and you're like, okay, where are we?
No.
What are you? Okay. My wife does all the time. And so apparently my wife was thinking ahead in the wee hours of the morning till football season. And so, you know, I come out of the shower and I'm going to get my breakfast. And she just says, I sure am going to miss you. And I take a step back and I go, are you dying? Are you leaving me? I go, it's a hell of a way to announce this. I go, couldn't you have waited till after the show? And then she's like, oh, no, I'm thinking ahead to the fall. And I'm like, I just went to the doctor. I had a really good, clean bill of health. Numbers are good and everything. Am I dying? Is there something you know? She's like, no, I'm just thinking ahead. I'm like, oh, just. So she just texted me and I text her back, sure am going to miss you. Ambien, is that a joke?
Yes, we did.
Brown chicken, we joked about it. The Lakers should mail in Game 5, and the reason the Knicks are losing is it the warmth or the humidity? Which is it?
I don't know. It would be NFL Ambien every single time. I don't get that interested into the NBA until the playoffs start, to be brutally honest with you.
Well, it's funny. You know the show I rave about on NBA radio? It's Frank Isola, Brian Scalabrine. Scalabrine said, listen, if you have a problem with the NBA regular season now, wait till next year. He said, look at what the Lakers and the Heat are doing. He goes, if you don't think guys are playing enough or playing hard now, he goes, forget finishing the top 6. They'll just say, I just need to finish in the top 8. I got 2 cracks to win one game. I'll play them both at home. We'll get in. Once we get in, we can beat anybody.
Eric Spoelstra's ahead of his time.
That's what it is. They tried to finish 8th.
Well, in the bubble, they were a 5th seed.
Yeah, but that season got stopped, and that was messed up.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I clocked out because it was a blowout. Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks for getting over it together with us here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Kirwan to join us in about 35 minutes' time. Pat Williams, who's trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando. How about this for a poll question, Mark? I know. We don't normally do them. But, once a week we get a bug up and we throw one out there. And, I'm just throwing this out there as a possibility. All right. Do you think Major League Baseball in Orlando is a good idea?
No. Oh, you want me to get that up for a poll question?
That Mark Miller, the David Moulton. I mean, we could put, besides yes or no, we could say yes, an expansion team. Yes, if it's the Rays, no. Because apparently, Pat Williams is saying would we be a fallback for the Rays so they don't leave the area, or you know what? If they work things out, we're as good as any other city, Nashville, Portland, what have you. Give us a damn team.
Do you think it's a good idea?
I'm torn. First off, I do think it's the best city in the state to have it work in. I really do. For the obvious reason. It's Vegas South minus the gambling, and eventually the gambling will come. Okay, so I do think it actually has the best chance of getting the best crowds on a nightly basis in this state. If Major League Baseball can work in this state, I actually think it's the city with the best chance. I could be completely wrong, but that's my gut feeling. Now, maybe if the Rays moved to Tampa, that would be the best.
Yeah, that to me is the best, and it's not close.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion, but go
right.
on.
But the other thing, when we get to 32 teams, baseball's going to realign. What if we had a division of Atlanta, Tampa, Orlando, and Miami? Does that interest anybody?
The Braves.
Well, I don't know. You sure you want to go head-to-head with the Rays?
Not going to ever finish worse than second in that division.
But you know what I mean in terms of interest in this state, okay? Because let's face it, Mark, we've talked about this a long time. The Panthers and the Lightning are not rivals. The Panthers are unbelievably envious of the Lightning. They hate them, the whole deal. The Lightning think the Panthers are a joke. They do. I mean, they don't even put them FLA up on the thing. They put Miami, right?
Yeah, they treated them as a stepchild from the word go.
Yeah, they treated them as an AHL franchise. They really have. And obviously, the one team's won 3 cups and the other team's been to it once. So they can continue to act that way until the the last 2 years in the playoffs, the Panthers had a chance to, and the Lightning beat them in 6 and in 4. But also in baseball, we got interleague play, and they call it the Sunshine Series, and it just an orange juice company puts their name on it, and they play 6 times against one another or 4 times against one another. But it's not like fans from either Tampa, St. Pete, or Miami take the turnpike and go see their team when they go play at the other ballpark. They just don't. I'm just wondering if you had 3 teams, okay, we got 1,000 people a day moving to this state. And they're moving from states and cities that are really into baseball, by the way. I mean, you got to say that. I mean, they're moving from the north and the northeast into the state of Florida. They're coming from baseball country. It's really easy to say no. It's the smart bet to say it won't work. But I actually think it has a shot.
And I don't think tourist towns are great sports towns. I'm very curious what will happen to Vegas. Football's going to work. It's 8 dates. And from a vacation standpoint, it's easy to say, ooh, let's go watch our team play the Raiders. Schedule comes out this week. You can start making plans accordingly. Baseball weekend series could be, hey, we're going to be in Orlando. Let's go check out a game, possibly. People that come to do vacation don't typically come to do sporting events.
No, it's true. It's true. You know, Vegas is going to be fascinating because one of the worst kept secrets in the world is Vegas is going to get an NBA team. I mean, LeBron has publicly said, I want a team and I want it in Vegas. Well, this just in. I mean, does Adam Silver work for LeBron or does LeBron work for Adam Silver?
Depends on the day.
Right. And I think when LeBron says publicly, I want to own a team and I want it to be in Vegas, I'm going to bet on LeBron owning an NBA franchise in Vegas. Call me crazy. Vegas and Seattle. Boom. There you go. The NBA is complete. Now let's take two cities in the West, move them to the East. New Orleans and pick another one. Minnesota, the Timberwolves, move the T-Wolves and the Pelicans to the Eastern Conference and call it a day. Let's go.
Or is it Memphis?
Yeah.
That's
one or the other. Right. New Orleans and Memphis. Let's go. So, but, Vegas is going to go from 2 to 4 here, potentially.
Here's my bigger problem, and I don't try to speak like I know Orlando like the back of my hand, because I don't. What's the problem with the franchise being in St. Pete, David? Main problem is all the folks from Tampa don't want to make that drive.
Correct.
Here's my question. We're going to start games around 6:30 off of I-4 in Orlando. The last time I checked, that's a pretty busy stretch of road. Even though they fixed it 7 times, it's still a pretty busy stretch of road.
Now, I will say, and there's no doubt, and for 15 years, it was under construction. I mean, I think only the Big Dig in Boston took longer, but they did a phenomenal job with it. It's 108 lanes wide, and traffic flows through there now. Now, I'll say this. The trouble spot is getting to Disney from Tampa. That road's not wide enough. That's the parking lot. I actually think once you get past Disney, it now moves through downtown Orlando because there's enough lanes. But, yeah, I don't know. That's just based on the last couple of years, me getting caught in traffic at certain times and what have you. But yes, obviously, it'll be a concern, just like any major city. It's a concern. And this is a city also that doesn't have public transportation, really. So there's no alternate way to get there. It's another question for Pat Williams. You got ample parking? There's 17 people who will get to that game not in a car. Okay, so you got to have ample parking.
And to your point, there are no rivalries in this state. Not the pro level.
College football, baby.
College baseball. I mean, college, right. the whole thing.
Yep. You could make that case. There are no professional rivalries in this state. I think that's a very fair statement. I mean, are the Heat and Magic rivals?
No. Probably, and that might be the closest one.
In the 90s, they were competing for control of the state. The Magic, got the lead, then the Heat with Riley, and then, the Magic again in the 2000s, the Heat 05, 06, win the title in 06, the Magic back-to-back trips to the conference finals and a trip to the NBA finals. I mean, Mark, for about 15 or so years, the Heat and Magic kind of went back and forth.
Really competing for that Sebring fan.
It's weird, though, with the Heat and the Magic, because I don't believe they've ever played each other in the playoffs, but every time they play against each other in the regular season, it's like a finals game for some reason. The Magic play their best games against the Heat. That's something I've noticed, at least.
But you're right, though. In order to really have it be a rivalry, especially since winning the division doesn't have the meaning in the NBA that it has in some other leagues, even though they are in the same division. In the last 12 years, neither one's been good at the same time. So, I mean, this is almost a generation in which the Heat have been good and the Magic have not. So if it was a rivalry from 94 through 2010, it's been nothing the last 12 plus years. Nothing. Think about it too, Mark. So the Heat have their 05, 06, 07 with Shaq and Wade. Then the Magic basically in 09 and 2010. And what happens after 2010? LeBron comes to Miami. And then Orlando implodes with Dwight Howard and Stan Van Gundy and what have you. I mean, literally, it's almost as if like they literally can't be good seemingly even for 3 months at the same time.
We may find out next year. Orlando's on the verge of being a pretty nice team. And Miami is, well, built for the playoffs. That's what we know.
Just waiting to see who the next Orlando Magic Heat killer will be. I'm looking at you, Terrence Ross.
So, would Major League Baseball work in Orlando? Yes, if it's an expansion team. Yes, if it's the Rays. C, no. I don't, just a thought.
Hell, we'll get it up on National Shrimp Day, David.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm heading to the grocery store today and everything. Oh, smoke them if you got them, baby.
Forest Moulton on the other side.
There's 2 pounds of those suckers coming home.
On National Shrimp Day. Hide the cocktail sauce. Moulton's coming at you. Miller and Moulton. The play of the day coming up on the other side. Pat Kirwan, 25 minutes away, right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Excuse me.
hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
come back with the NFL's international games and the play of the day?
Sure. So, do you think Major League Baseball would work in Orlando? Yes, expansion team. Yes, Rays move there. No. Correct?
Yes. Thank you.
Question is up. How many shrimp in pounds do you think you could eat? Like if I had 5 pounds of shrimp.
How much time do I have?
Hour.
I mean, I have to admit, unlike the hot dog, like, I wouldn't want to do.
All right.
You're just talking about, like, if you had a bag.
It's a football game. You're over at my house for a football game. It's a 1 o'clock kick.
And they're peeled already.
Well, that's a lot of shrimp for me to peel for you to eat, but sure.
Well, I'm not saying you peel them. I mean, but are they peeled or not?
Probably at my house, probably not.
Okay. In the first half of a football game, say, hour, 15 minutes, I don't know, pound and a half.
I'd take the over.
I mean, I would just systematically peel and eat. It's in a way, it's kind of like the pitch clock in baseball. It's like perfect timing. Peel it, boom, bang. Peel it, boom, bang. I mean, I'm not a huge sauce guy. I would occasionally say, let's dip, a couple of these.
Yeah, mine would be way too spicy for you too. I like a lot of horseradish in there, David.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the sauce question. Because I'm peeling, dipping, eating.
You like it spicy?
Yes. I might match Moulton on that. Maybe go 1.5 pounds. Shrimp is one of my all-time favorite foods.
I'm a big fan.
I love shrimp. Thank God I'm not Zion Williamson because I'd weigh 380 pounds.
Are we sure he doesn't?
Man.
No, the Jags have worked out an agreement where they've offered to play in London.
Oh yes.
I mean they raised their hand to play these games there. That's why they're there.
There's wasn't there a year or two where they played twice?
They're doing it this year.
But they were both home games, is what I'm saying. That they actually
playing back to back this year.
Yeah, but the second one's a road game. So it's the Bills who sacrifice a home game.
Is it the Dolphins or the Chiefs home game?
Chiefs, I think. Yeah, Chiefs. Team. Can't wait to wake up at 9:30 for that game.
First world problems, dude. You're used to waking up at what? 4:30?
It's true.
Time do you get up, Felipe?
On weekends?
No, on weekdays.
Oh, 4:30. My first alarm is 4:35.
When's the one that you get up with?
That one.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. You bring that bass high up, right?
So this one, yeah, way high.
You don't play it below the waist. No, you bring that one up to like the armpit, the shoulders.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Short strap for that one.
Mark playing a little air bass there. Another reason to take us in on the Miller and Moulton Twitch.tv channel. Pat Kirwan coming up a little more than 15 minutes time. Felipe with a Clutch Vodka play of the day in a half a dozen minutes. We have a poll question.
Look at that.
Yeah, it'll be our one for the week. Savor it, enjoy it, vote. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter. Also FL Sports Network on Twitter. Or you can go to floridasportsnetwork.com and vote. Pat Williams will join us at the top of the hour. He's trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando in honor of Pat and his cause. We made Major League Baseball in Orlando our poll question.
It's very simple. Do you think Major League Baseball in Orlando will work? Yes, expansion team. Yes, the Rays move there, or just simply no.
There you go. If you were the city of Orlando, by the way, and you had your choice, the Rays or an expansion team, you have your choice. Which would you prefer? If Major League Baseball said you're going to get a team, we can do this one of two ways. Rays or expansion, you're Orlando, which would you take?
It's a great question, David, because there are, I think, advantages to each. I think the advantage of an expansion team, people could lay out. The picking of the name, the hype, and all the things that go along with it. But you're going to get a little bit of a fan base with the Rays.
I would take the Rays.
And you get a really good organization.
Right. That's the other thing. I'm going to hit the ground and I'm going to be competitive day one. I do think it's important to win. I actually think it's the most important thing.
You know, if it was expansion or the Marlins, I would say expansion. But because the Rays are such a well-run franchise, I'm with you. I would lean Rays because I know I'm going to win.
By the way, think about this. If your Sternberg, does Orlando interest you? Remember, you get to keep the team. Now, and we'll talk to Pat Williams about this coming up, you know, right now there's a $725 million shortfall. We'll ask Pat who's picking up the $725 million. Sternberg has not indicated he's interested in chipping in
$7.25, David.
We told you the NFL schedule officially released tomorrow night, 8:00, but that they were going to drips and drabs it today, tonight, tomorrow morning. So they released their international games in the last 15 minutes. There's 5 of them. They're all in Europe. There's no Mexico this year. 3 in England, 2 in Germany. Week 4, week 5, week 6, week 9, week 10. Jacksonville plays 2 of the 5 international games. They play the first one, a home game against Atlanta. They'll be at Wembley Stadium. They stay across the pond, Mark. And the next week, they're the road team at Tottenham Hotspur facing the Bills. Then the following week, also at Tottenham Hotspur, Ravens and Titans. We think that's a Tennessee home game. The Dolphins are in Germany, week 9 against the Chiefs.
No homecoming for Tyreek, who was all excited to go back to Arrowhead and play. Now has to play that game in Germany.
There's a couple of good games across the pond. I mean, Jags with Trevor Lawrence against Josh Allen and the Bills. A couple of division champions from a year ago. Dolphins Chiefs in Frankfurt. And then the following week, Colts Patriots. We think it's a New England home game.
Are you doing any of these?
I don't think so. They're all on Sundays. And I think because of the time difference, they'll have to be, 2:30, 3:30 games across the pond. And that means 9:30 a.m. here. I'll find out tomorrow night. I think one of these games is an ABC/ESPN game, but I'm led to believe that it's one of the games that now Chris Fowler and the B team will do. It's what I'm led to believe. I'll find out for sure tomorrow night.
Passport ready just in case?
I got it. Yep. Got to remember, though, it'd be interesting to get there. I do have a Saturday game. So it'll be interesting. Can I make it? Can I do the double dip? See, Saturday to Monday, it's great. There's no place I can't get to in the world. Saturday, Southeastern Conference. Sunday, Europe. That's a little harder.
Atlanta, Frankfurt, that could happen.
Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Got to get there in time, though. Got to get there in time. There's got to be a first thing in the morning flight. So we'll see. I would love to go. Absolutely love to go.
Just want you to do the Monday show from Germany.
Totally. And the Tuesday show. Remember, it'll be lunchtime. Oh, my goodness. I may already have a couple pints in me. So, Pat Kirwan in 10 minutes.
From International David to Felipe's Clutch Vodka Play of the Day. Felipe, what do you have for us today?
Let's go to the baseball diamond. We go to San Francisco, where 24-year-old Casey Schmidt was selected from the AAA in Sacramento earlier this week. He actually didn't find out that he got called up when he got the call because he was watching Guardians of the Galaxy in the movie theater. So he gets called up, his second at-bat of his MLB career, his first hit.
Right-handed hitter. He swings. It's a high drive. Left center field. It is gone! Home run, Casey Schmidt. In his first game and his second at bat. His first big league hit is a homer. And they're having a party in the Schmidt section. Wow, what a moment for Casey.
And what a moment for baseball as he went very Brockmeyer with that entire call.
But at least he took his time and make sure he said the Schmidt section.
Doesn't it feel like we get one of those every year, every baseball season? Guy gets called up, his first hit is a home run. Then we never hear from him ever again.
How about that? That's our Clutch Vodka Play of the Day. That's Clutch with a K.
Make sure you take your time and be careful when you're walking through the Schmidt section. People have been getting in trouble for some of the things they've said during broadcasts lately.
No doubt. There is no doubt. It's been a tough year on the broadcaster.
Uh-huh.
For them being idiots.
Yeah, right. Got to take your time. Certain phrases are linguistically challenging. It's baseball, and I know we've picked up the pace a little bit, but you still have enough time to say the Schmidt section properly.
Guarantee you that the Schmidt section had a little Clutch vodka after that home run. Again, that's Clutch with a K. Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan coming up in about 8 minutes' time. We will get into the NFL. Some of the scheduling quirks already out with the Europe schedule being released this morning. The Jags playing 2 games. The Dolphins playing the Chiefs in Frankfurt. So no Tyreek Hill reunion in Kansas City this season. Miller and Moulton, as I mentioned. Pat Kirwan coming up on the other side. Thank you so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Pat, Felipe will call you in about 5.
Is he going to try the computer?
Doesn't
No.
look like it. No.
No, I said his
Oh,
seat.
no.
Okay.
No.
But he's on the computer. That's why he asked.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Just
gotcha. My bad.
Here's Pat. Hey, Pat.
Hey, guys.
sound fine now, Pat. Oh, you got him on the phone.
Yeah, I know. But, so I was on my laptop listening to your watching you guys, and it froze twice. I'm working off a 4G card in a car because I'm at the dentist's office.
Oh, okay.
So then when I saw it freeze, I said, better off on the phone. So that's why I switched, so it wouldn't break down.
No problem. Good deal.
Yeah, the schedule. Now that we can't prove what an AFC game was or an NFC game, it sure looks like the AFC got beat up in Europe.
Yeah, they did.
I will say they actually gave a couple of pretty darn
Really good games.
nice matchups to Europe.
They did, but how many of them would have been in the old days, like last year, AFC games?
Well, one of them definitely would have been. I think the Jacksonville-Buffalo game would have been a CBS game. There's a chance the Miami-Kansas City game would have been Thursday, Sunday night, Monday.
Oh, it's all good.
How you doing this week? You got hockey tonight, right?
Oh, yeah. Very fired up about that. And Friday and Saturday as well. So, hey, they're up 2-0. These guys are rolling. Your home team in Jacksonville's getting their ass kicked right now there, David.
My home team. That is true. Blades.
They became your home team when you said, why don't you come up to Jacksonville? We'll go to the game together.
Yep.
That was an invite to your home game.
That's right. We'll do the home and home. Okay. You come to me, I'll come to you.
Hey, Mark, do you want to go to the game tonight?
You know what? I'd love to. Unfortunately, my wife's got an after-work meeting. I don't think I can pull it off. Let me see if I can get my mom to sit, but I'm going to say no, Pat.
Okay. Well, let me know if something changes even for Friday. But my brother, one of Brad Childress is up in Minnesota. He had to go up there for this week, so he's going to miss. And I'm just sitting there with Jimmy. And there's a guy coming tonight that I really would like you to meet. He's the money man behind the Bishop Carney thing, where all the girls that are
Oh,
to
yeah.
Wisconsin. Yeah, he's something else. They were recruiting kids in Alaska.
Pat, someone in the Twitch chat earlier said that PK is going to be in the building tonight. I don't know if they mean PK Subban.
No.
Oh. I was like, really?
No. If anything, they meet an Everblade's old assistant, which that would shock me if PK O'Hanley is in the building.
Oh.
They've been playing pretty good.
Yeah.
At
Crowds
some
have
point,
been
that
pretty
coach
good,
has got to
too.
get a shot somewhere.
That's what I keep thinking. I can't believe he can't. I think the organization change hurt him. He probably would have gotten moved up by now, right? If they.
ECHL's no man's land, though. You're not really, you're affiliated, but you're not really affiliated.
Yeah.
Who are they with now? The Preds?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's interesting. Trotz has taken over as GM of Nashville. Wonder if he'll.
No, the Everblades are affiliated with Miami.
With Florida now?
They switched that.
Okay.
They're with the
Panthers at the end of last season.
Huh.
10 seconds. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Williams to join us just after the top of the hour. He's trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando. He's got a plan. He's got it all mapped out. We'll ask him some questions. Let's see if this works. It's also our poll question. Think Major League Baseball in Orlando works? Yes, if it's an expansion team. Yes, if it's the Rays. No. Vote accordingly. Pat Kirwan, kind enough to join us once again. He of NFL Radio is moving the chains weekday afternoons. Also, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, dozen locations in between. Pinchers, because you can't fake fresh. How you doing? Are you rested up? I mean, it's almost an off season for you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely slowing down, which is a good thing. And June is the month everyone in my world looks forward to, and the NFL guys. Once those coaches go on vacation, things can get pretty easy. No, I mean the schedule is a topic of conversation. I was working on Patrick Queen's thing. What would you do with Patrick Queen over in Baltimore? So I find my days filled with that stuff. I will say this: I got a lot of calls for that Black Friday game, and everyone wants the Steelers at the Raiders or vice versa. That's what they want for the Black Friday game, which will come out this afternoon.
Pat, in the front offices, how much attention is paid to the schedule? I mean, we get all excited. We start playing the schedule game. I know coaches just look at the first game. What happens in front offices when schedules are coming out?
Well, you got front office guys that run that manage the business, and so they're looking at our trips. Where are we going? Hotels, air, all that business. So there's someone always worried about that part of it. The coaches, they look at the first game, Mark, but they also look at how many national games they have, how many times they're going to be at night and screw up their weekly schedule. That just ticks them off. They'd love to play at 1:00. We talk about that on this show quite a bit every Sunday. The way they have done this, though, is troubling to me. Number one, and this part doesn't bother me, there's a chance a team like Arizona will get no nationally televised games, and they'll be happy to play at 1:00 while they're trying to figure out what they are. But that language where these teams with 5 games in prime time, it can go to 7. Now you think about a team, that's the little piece people aren't talking about. you can get your 5 games in, and if they want to pull you and use you later in the year, they can. So there's language in there that a team like Kansas City could have 7 primetime games by the end of the season. That bothers coaches. That bothers players. And that's abusive, to quote John Mara. That kind of stuff is wrong, but that could happen.
So help me out here, because it used to be 5 was the magic number. You couldn't be primetime more than 5. Then they said, listen, Thanksgiving doesn't count. Okay, so you can have 5 primetime games, and if we put you, whether it's in Dallas at 4:30 or we put you at night on Thanksgiving, that does not count as a primetime game. So now 5 could become 6. But you're also saying now with Sunday night football that can flex, and for the first time ever, Monday night football, the last 4 or so weeks of the season, they get to flex. You're saying if a team's already got 5 or 6 primetime games scheduled, they can still get flexed.
Yeah, look it up. There's language right at the end of all the description of the schedule that they have the right to go to 7. And that's wrong. Which leads me to my favorite question. Let's say 5 teams are getting 5 primetime games. I ran this out, and it's pretty funny. The world, I hate to break the news to the Cowboy fans, is sick of the Cowboys getting 5 primetime games. They haven't been to the championship in 26 years. And they're going to get it. They always do. And it's not fair to somebody who deserves it. So you tell me. I looked at how many guys, who's been in the championship game that deserves it, that hasn't fallen apart like Green Bay. Kansas City's number 1. San Francisco's number 2. Cincinnati's number 3. Philly's 4. Buffalo's 5. And most people want to see the Jets with Rodgers. But you know that Dallas is going to get all this. So who gets knocked out of 5 primetime games? That's what I want to know.
Well, Pat, you take that to 7 in Thanksgiving. You look at what Kansas City has right now. They're going to get their 5. The odds are they'll get flexed at least once. Don't know if they'll play Thanksgiving, and they play in London. I mean, their schedule could be screwed up more than it's normal.
Yeah, and it bothers me. It bothers players. And that kind of slipped that in. Have you noticed how you haven't had to talk about that? Go look it up. They reserve the right to go to 7. That is not good. Almost half your schedule is going to be primetime, and every one of those screws up your work week, your travel, everything. So I think they've really, really started to go over the top here, and it's not right. And plus, people want to see other teams. I hate to break the news to you. Not you guys, but it's like ridiculous.
All right. Well, tell you what. Give me 1 or 2 teams that normally don't get a ton of primetime games that you think this year people want to see. Because let's face it, for the last couple of years, the Patriots have still been getting 4 and 5 primetime games. And a lot of us have been like, yeah, they're not that interesting. We don't need to see them.
Oh.
They don't have number 12 anymore. So give me the 1 or 2 teams that your audience tells you they want to see in prime time.
The Jets are number 1.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a no-brainer. The second one won't get it because their market's so terrible is Jacksonville. People want to see Trevor Lawrence now. They won the division. They think this is the emerging next superstar. And I found that interesting that people felt like you always get the Raiders. They feel like they always get screwed out of this, but they're not good enough. I remember when Dallas, the first time we had a big conflict on our show was people said, no more Dallas. Can you knock them down to 3 or 4? And the only reason they're in there is because they have this national audience. People are tired of watching them 5 times. And God forbid if they went to 7. They're not very good.
And there's holes to fill because, as David already mentioned, New England was getting the 5 games. Tampa the last 2 years was getting the 5 games, and they're going to be unwatchable this year. So there are voids in the schedule where they're going to have to fill it in with somebody, Pat.
Well, I just listed it. Kansas City, San Francisco, Cincinnati deserves 5. Philadelphia deserves 5 and will get them. And Buffalo deserves 5. There's 5 teams right there. The Jets should be 6. and I would start knocking down Dallas, but they'll never do it. We're stuck watching a team that can't get to the championship game for 26 years.
I'm going to throw a team out there, and I think Pat's going to hang up. So I'm going to apologize in advance, Mark. I think the Dolphins should get 5 primetime games.
Click.
Well, they had 3 last year and an asterisk because they were given one of those December Saturday NFL Network games. And I don't think that counts as a primetime game. Okay, I don't. If it does, then they got 4. But the Dolphins last year got the most number of primetime games they've had in a long time. They actually had 3.
Yeah, they're the kind of team that I would 3 or 4 and be prepared if Tua stays alive and everything's going to pull him and use him again. That kind of thing. But to lock 5, which I can't wait to see that tomorrow, nobody that I talk with except the Dallas Cowboy fan, not one person calls in. Ted, I'll get this. We had Giant fans that want to see the Jets on primetime because of Rodgers. Giant fans. They also want the Jet-Giant game to be the opener.
Well, and the Giants are going to come close to 5 because they won a division and it's New York, and the football hype in New York's never been this high right now.
All right, so we're doing a good job at the top. Who is not going to get 1 primetime game?
Houston.
Who's going to get just 1?
Well, I thought it was a league rule that, Arizona, Houston, Indianapolis, they'll get a Thursday night game, and that will count.
They have now in their language that they do not require that anyone gets a primetime game.
Oh, wow. That's a change. I'm guessing Amazon complained about their schedule enough, so they changed it.
Thank you. We finally got to the culprit, Amazon. They got to keep feeding them a schedule to make it work for them. I say fix your TV so it works. Don't worry about your schedule.
Hey, how do you think America would handle if the Lions got 5 primetime games, or even 4?
I think people are ready for it. And forget the Thanksgiving, add another. They are an intriguing football team. So I do think those kind of things, and I'm not one that cares too much about the schedule, but they've tweaked these rules, so they're forcing me to think about it, and I don't like what I see.
And if you don't like it, that means front offices are talking about it and they don't like it, because you're hearing this from more than just yourself in the mirror right now, Pat.
There's no doubt about that.
He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekday afternoons, also part of CBS's NFL Today show. Joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers. Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between Pinchers, because you can't fake fresh.
Pat, all right. Now, outside of the schedule, what is the biggest concern teams have heading into the off month of June? What is going on right now in the month of May that you're concerned with?
Well, not many of the teams use week 1 for their mini camp. But let's just talk about that for a second. The Bears did it the first week. And what happened? They ended up signing 4 of the tryout guys. If they were going on the second week, those tryout guys were not going to go to the Bears. They were going to go somewhere else. So they create a little advantage to take a look at some players that may never even play for them, but they feel real good about locking up those 4 guys. So get through the mini camp. Next week, this weekend coming up is almost all of them, and then they're going to keep everybody in town. Contracts are getting done real fast, Mark, which means signing bonuses are going out real fast, which means young guys that never had any money now have money to do things that could get them injured or in trouble. And GMs live in fear of from the day signing bonus gets issued to the day camp starts. And we've all seen all the problems that happen. But that's the anxiety.
The Chiefs have said 2 interesting things here lately. One is that they're going to rework Mahomes' contract and make sure he's the highest paid player in the game, which they don't have to do, but that's a classy move by them because he should be the highest paid player in the game. Secondly, though, they said Donovan Smith's going to play left tackle, and the guy they spent $20 million on to bring in as a free agent, he's going to play right tackle. I find that interesting, Pat.
All right. If that happened in any team but Andy Reid's, we'd all be thinking there's something wrong with the front office. But because they're the world champions and Andy rarely makes mistakes on offensive line, no one's challenging that. But that money for the right tackle, now, will he stay at right tackle? Donovan was terrible last year. He was the most penalized lineman in the league. Now, all you hear is, well, he was injured. I'm not so sure this is going to work, but this is how they're going to do it. No one's criticizing. You brought it up.
I mean, I know Smith's only played left tackle, and so I guess he's trying to, keep the veteran comfortable and what have you. But, I mean, it will help, though, Pat, right? I mean, blocking for Mahomes, there are frustrations about blocking for somebody who's not in the same spot that you expect him to be, but also Mahomes is probably going to make life a little better for Smith, right?
Well, in theory he would, but if he scrambles out to the left while Donovan's trying to push a speed rusher upfield, he's going to run him right into Mahomes. He was holding all the time. When you hold, it's because your feet don't work anymore.
It's funny. We think of Donovan Smith like he's been in the league 15 years and he's 36 years old. He's been in the league 8 years. He's 29, but he definitely played old last year. He's Pat Kirwan. He plays young every week with us. All right. NFL Radio's moving the chains 3 to 7 weekdays. CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us again, courtesy of Pinchers. Pat, enjoy the rest of your week. Good luck to your hockey team, and we'll talk next week.
Thank you very much. Have a good week, you guys. I'm going to behave at the end of the show today. I've been too rude lately.
No, you have not. You have not. My mother waits for your snarkiness. She loves it.
Well, she does send me some directions on what to say to you. I will tell you that.
Thanks, Pat.
You're one of only 3 people in Western civilization that gets away with calling me Dave. Pat Kirwan joining us here on Miller and Moulton. 7
primetime games.
Oof.
I mean, think of Kansas City. 7 primetime games. Throw in a 9:30 game overseas. And then if they give them Thanksgiving, that could be over half of their schedule. Miller and Moulton. Pat Williams to talk Orlando baseball next.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com. Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Shefty just announced New Year's Eve, Bengals and Chiefs.
That's the one game that CBS gets. That nope, this is ours. You cannot take it from us.
And they're putting it on New Year's Eve at 4:25.
So here's my question. College football this year, the semis, are they on Monday? The first? When
They've
are the
gotta be,
semis?
David. They've got
Well,
to be.
but in theory, Monday Night Football. And who televises the semis? It's the same network that televises Monday Night Football. So I'm really curious what college football's doing this year.
The Rose Bowl I'm seeing as one semi. It's not coming up the way I really would want it to.
Are they playing the semis at 1 and 5?
Rose Bowl and Sugar is what I'm seeing. I don't have times, David. They'll probably go 1 and 4:30, 1 and 5, and then is that week? That's week 17. So that's your last Monday night game, right?
Correct. Now, it's possible that, do they move us to Saturday? They move us to Saturday, normally week 18. Like last year, we did Jags Titans on a Saturday, last regular season game.
Ooh, nice stab.
No, Mr. Butte, that was for the first year of the 12-team playoff. They announced what that schedule would be. No, that's Mr. Butte. That's
you're off a year.
You're off a year. We do not think an international division is a good idea. We think that this is where the NFL, what they're doing now, there you go. 4, 5, 6 games, space them out, knock yourself out. 36 teams, not a good idea.
Those giant uniforms that kid hit the home run in yesterday are absolutely awful.
Man, I know we sound old, but
no, but I can look at there's some of the Philly basketball jerseys, they're thirds and they're alternatives. I'm fine with all the Philly basketball jerseys. You know why? They look like Philly basketball jerseys.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Celtics green with Celtics cross. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate all of them.
That's on hold. We're coming back.
Good job, Felipe. Thank you.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it may be the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice, and Southwest Florida. The bonus hour awaits at the top of the hour for the 239. We've been excited to talk to Pat Williams all show. He brought the NBA to Orlando, and now he's trying to bring Major League Baseball there as well. Pat, it's David and Mark. Thanks so much for your time. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning to you. Nice to hear from you.
Yes, great to talk to you. We have many times over the years. We even talked to you 4 years ago when you first talked about this, but you have a lot more details now. For those just joining us, 45,000 seat stadium. It would cost $1.7 billion. The county would, in theory, finance through bed taxes about $1 billion of it. It could be an expansion team. It could be the Rays. Pat, have you had any contact at all with the Rays?
Well, I know those guys, and I have talked to them occasionally along the way, not regularly. And we're following that situation in St. Pete closely. We don't know how that's going to play out, but we've got to get our house in order first before we even think about the Rays. Our main focus is on expansion. We do know that baseball wants to add 2 cities. Obviously, one would be west of the Mississippi, one would be east. And we want to be ready when baseball really starts examining the expansion candidates.
All right.
Right now, it looks like Nashville would be our main competition.
Pat, wouldn't the Rays be competition in this sense? I know the Braves forever have basically held Charlotte as their territorial rights. Don't the Rays have territorial rights to Orlando, and how would that work out in trying to get an expansion franchise?
Well, it's 2 different markets. The Rays, well, I've done this many times. Depending on traffic, you know, it can be a 3-hour drive from Orlando to a game at the Trop, hinging on traffic, of course, but that's a long trip. So we see them as 2 different markets, and that baseball would really, really, really like to have Orlando. With all of its pluses, to say nothing of the 80 million tourists that come through here every year. We just think that there's so many pluses for Orlando that baseball has to take us seriously.
So, Pat, and obviously you love Orlando. You believe in it mightily. You brought the Magic there 30 plus years ago. But Major League Baseball in this state, it works in spring training. It doesn't necessarily work at the gate during the regular season, only in some rare instances. Why would Orlando be different?
Well, it's a totally different market. We pleaded with baseball 30 plus years ago when they went to Miami that Orlando should have been the spot. And then later they expanded again and picked St. Pete. We pleaded with them again that it should have been Orlando, and so we feel very strongly that we're not Miami, we're not St. Petersburg, we're Orlando, and there's so many pluses to our market that we don't want to be compared to Miami and St. Petersburg. They've struggled at the gate from the time they were born. And they just weren't great baseball markets. That's our opinion. So we feel we're different. We've got a lot of pluses. Orlando is growing like crazy. We're now the 17th largest media market in North America, having recently passed Miami, and with no end in sight. This year we should have 80 million tourist visitors that come through here. 80 million in the next years. That's I think easily going to get to 100 million visitors. Listen, if 2% of them decide they want to go to a ball game, that's 2 million people right there. And if we can't draw 1 million people from our residents, well, we shouldn't even be talking. So if my math is correct, I think we could be a 3 million attendance franchise.
Pat, I'm curious what makes you think you can get the tourists to come to baseball games, because there's a lot of markets across the country that have tried and have failed. Why do you think that the tourist that's coming to spend their money with their family, whether it's at Disney or whatever, would put baseball on that list?
Oh, I think, you can only spend so much time in the parks. And this ballpark is going to be right smack in the middle of the tourist district, right across the street from SeaWorld, a few miles from Universal, about 6 miles from Disney. And as I said, you don't need a huge percentage. I just mentioned 2% that would love to come to a ballpark. And the mandate we've been given by our government is that this ballpark's got to be a tourist attraction unto itself. Even if there's no game, people are going to want to see it. And so that we revealed those renderings yesterday, and let the public see what this would look like. And the early response has been very positive.
Pat Williams brought the Magic to Orlando, was their senior vice president. Okay, follow him on Twitter, Orlando Magic Pat. Orlando Magic Pat has been behind Orlando getting a Major League Baseball team. His preferred name is Dreamers because he's a big dreamer. He said the name can be changed, but right now they would be the Orlando Dreamers. St. Pete built the stadium before they had a team. Say the county says, yeah, Pat, we're fine with this. We're all in. We'll give you the money. Are you guys going to put a shovel into the ground without a team, or are you just going to have your paperwork done so that you can say, whether it be to Major League Baseball or raise ownership, listen, we're ready, say the word?
The latter. We would not start a construction process unless we have a commitment for an expansion team or a team that would move. We franchise first, construction second. That would be our approach.
And if it is expansions, which seems to be the direction you want to go, how does that process go, Pat? Have you already made inroads with Major League Baseball? Do you file for an expansion fee for an expansion team? How does that process go?
Well, they certainly know that we're getting ready. We've kept the commissioner of baseball apprised of everything that we're doing down here, and so he knows what's happening. And they have not formed a task force. They haven't formed an expansion committee yet, but they will at some point. Remember what the commissioner has said. Expansion would come only after the A's and the Rays get their ballpark situations resolved. Well, it appears certain now that the A's are moving to Vegas. So that's one problem solved. And now the question is, what do the Rays do? How do they get their ballpark situation resolved? We don't know yet. But we're all watching very carefully to see what they do in St. Pete.
Pat, I just want to clarify. So are the Rays okay with you guys getting an expansion franchise? Because you're right, obviously. There's it's from St. Pete to where your stadium's going to be. It's 100 miles, and you're right. It could be 3 hours. But usually, as Mark pointed out, Atlanta doesn't want a team in Charlotte, and that's 250 miles. So the Rays are okay with you guys getting an expansion team?
Well, let me put it this way. all we could do is get ready and show the advantages to baseball of having Major League Baseball in Orlando. That's all we can control.
Okay.
We can't control anything that's going on over in the Tampa Bay area. All we can do is get our house in order and make our very best pitch when that time comes. Right now, as we look at the map and the expansion situation, it's obvious that they would pick one team west of the Mississippi, one team east of the Mississippi. Out west, with Vegas gone now, it's down to Portland and Salt Lake City, Utah. East of the Mississippi, Charlotte's not doing anything that we know of.
Right.
Vegas or Nashville is, and Orlando is. I can't picture baseball going back to Montreal. So in that light, it comes down to Nashville and Orlando as far as expansion goes. That's my take on it at this early date.
And may the best city win. Pat, hope you and the family are doing well. Thank you for your time. We're behind you. Good luck. And we'll talk again, hopefully.
Thank you. It's always good to hear from you guys. Thank you very, very much.
Pat Williams brought the Magic to Orlando, was their senior VP for a long time, still has a role in the franchise. Follow him on Twitter, Orlando Magic Pat, Orlando Magic Pat.
Get all the answers you needed?
Well, it's clear that he has not been told by the Rays that the Rays are, hey, thumbs up, good luck. We're behind you. Okay. Now,
right. And the 3 hour thing, I've seen articles where he's talked about it being an hour away. So you got to figure out which one it is. Are you an hour from Tampa if the Rays move there, or are you 3 hours away if it's an expansion team? Which one is it?
The other thing, which we didn't get to, is there's a $700 million, if the county with bed taxes is going to provide essentially $1 billion and the stadium is 1.7. So does that mean the ownership, whoever it is, picks up the $700 million? Number one, plus it's a $2 billion expansion fee, $1.5 to $2 billion. Who's coming up with that? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
No, I was just saying this is a problem for the Rays. Or I'm sorry, this is a problem for Tampa St. Pete. This is a problem because this is real. This is a place where they could relocate. Sternberg can get everything he wants here. He can. And I think they would draw better in Orlando than they are in St. Pete.
I agree with that.
And the stadium's 45,000, not this dump that they're in which they close the upper deck and they do 25,000.
By the way, that rendering that they have cooked up looks incredible.
It better.
It looks amazing. It doesn't look like any baseball stadium I've ever seen in my life.
If you can't have a drawing look good, forget it.
No,
but I'm with you. It does look great.
It looks like something that Orlando would build, pretty much.
But Felipe, and it's probably got, I don't know, 5-6 years now. But Mark, remember the drawings when the Rays were going to play in an outdoor stadium in downtown St. Pete with the river behind them?
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful.
It looked amazing. Now, the problem was there was no dome, and they were trying to come up with these, like, shaded areas over the stands and,
Look, the Disney fan is not a baseball fan. Period. End of sentence. It's not. Could you get some convention people to go to a baseball game? Yep, you could. But there's not extra. When you go to Disney, your money's pretty well spent. You don't have an extra $500 in your pocket to take the family to a baseball game.
There's no doubt about that.
There's just not.
They're
gutting you.
It's disgusting. Even Bob Iger said publicly that we got to lower our prices. When the CEO of Disney goes, oh man, this is a little too expensive. That's when you know you're charging too much money. No, Adam, they shouldn't. Okay, no. Logic Man, it'd be cool. It would be cool.
I don't think so, by the way. I think it's going back to Boston. I thought that before the game yesterday. I picked Philadelphia, still thinking it was going back to Boston.
The only thing the NBA is rooting for, the NBA is rooting for the Knicks to win tonight and the Warriors to win tonight. They desperately want the Lakers-Warriors series to go at least 6. The ratings have been great.
Not anywhere close to the ratings they've been getting for Jersey Hurricanes, but
no,
you know what I mean.
Right. I mean, perspective and all. Never mind Vegas and Edmonton.
Adam, I have friends in Collier County that are giant Braves fans and have been their whole life.
TBS, baby.
Yep. And it was the closest team for so many years. I couldn't knock my son. I'm talking to him because he's like, we're talking baseball. And he goes, I go, who do you root for? He goes, kind of the Braves now. His mom's a Braves fan. I'm like, I can't knock you. I'm rooting for the Rays. I'm a front runner too. So
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Seth Everett to join us in a little more than 15 minutes. Mark, we did not talk about this part of it very early in our show, and we broached it a little bit with Pat Williams, who's trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando. We had him on last segment. If you missed the interview, it will get posted, floridasportsnetwork.com, later this morning, floridasportsnetwork.com. Mark, this is a real problem for Tampa St. Pete because this is Vegas to the Oakland A's. Orlando has said, we'd prefer an expansion team, but we'll take the Rays. And I don't think money will be a problem. I believe the county, $1 billion in bed tax revenue in Orlando, that ain't a problem. That ain't a problem at all. That doesn't take long, actually, to pay that sucker off. And if Sternberg were to, and look at the stadium they're proposing. You and I have tried to follow the Rays stadium situation, Tampa St. Pete plans over the years closely. Anything they put together that looks as good as what they put on paper yesterday in Orlando?
no, because they've never had to me, a satisfactory Tampa. Ybor City was a nice idea,
right?
But we never really got past the idea stage.
Also, in theory, let's face it, Sternberg does not want to spend any of his own money. All right. Right now, with the Rays, there's no expansion fee. Don't have to worry about that. You already have an owner and an organization in place. So you got to come up with $700 million in a shortfall. Okay. We got time to figure that out between the city of Orlando, the county, the state. Sternberg. Remember Sternberg, how did Sternberg want to cover like the $400 million shortfall he had the one time? He wanted to basically use a corporate sponsor. If that's whatever.
He thought the naming rights would cover his end, basically.
Exactly.
If serves me right.
Right. He said, I think, 40-year deal, and I'll take $10 million out of the naming rights, and boom, it'll go to cover it, and there you go. So it comes out of my pocket, but not really. It's just money that never quite gets in it. This is real. If you're Tampa St. Pete, Montreal, Major League Baseball, the Players Association, they were never going to approve that. There's no Charlotte. Nashville's not interested in the Rays. Have you heard of a city after the whole Montreal thing died that's raising their hand saying, we'll take the Rays?
No.
Orlando will take the Rays. And remember, they're kind of on the clock. Their lease runs out in 4 years. It takes it good 2 to build it.
Now, Oakland's still in a mess because they just announced yesterday, I believe, that they have a different land area they're buying with the Tropicana. They're going to knock that down and build a casino hotel adjacent to the new ballpark. But we're not past a plan stage.
Are you talking Vegas?
Vegas, yeah.
Right. Well, and none of the financing, none of it, not a penny of it, has been secured to bring the A's to Vegas.
They haven't even brought anything to the Las Vegas, whether it's the county commission, the city commissioners, whomever it is they have to bring. Nothing has been presented to Las Vegas government as to how they're going to pay for this new stadium.
Exactly. Nothing to the city, nothing to Clark County, nothing. Correct. And there are some who believe that, they're kind of tapped out. They build that arena, and they gave a lot to the Raiders, a lot. By the way, it is interesting. Mark Davis not supporting this at all because of this ownership and how this owner treated him when they were in Oakland and what have you. He's not supporting it at all.
Yeah, he is not doing the David Sampson in public, trying to act and put on this front. No, I want nothing to do with them. I didn't want anything to do with them the way they treated us in Oakland, and I haven't forgotten a thing that they've said or done.
This is a really hard question. I'm not playing around with this question. If you're Stu Sternberg And the options are St. Pete and Orlando, not Tampa. Your options going forward are making it work with whatever the best damn plan you can put together in St. Pete or Orlando. Where would you want your franchise to be in 5 years?
And essentially, you're telling me all things are equal as far as what the stadium deal is. You know, whether you get a stadium in St. Pete or Orlando, they're virtually, it's a similar deal for Sternberg, right?
I'm assuming financially, yes. The only difference is the Orlando Stadium's bigger. I mean, they're 45,000. There's been no talk of a stadium. I mean, 34,000, I think, is the biggest proposed stadium for the Rays. You know, that's almost 1 million extra people potentially just in the size of the stadium. If you're Sternberg,
I think I would lean Orlando over St. Pete.
and that's why this is a problem for Tampa St. Pete. Because it's a close call. I mean, that's a fair statement, right? That
Yep.
it's that, you know, we do it's at best it's 60-40 either way. You know, maybe it's a total flip of a coin in the middle. But this is, you know, the Montreal proposal we all thought that was asinine. Apparently Montreal didn't, but everybody else did. Sternberg and Montreal thought it was great, and everybody else looked at it and said, this is ridiculous. This is not ridiculous right here. This is right off exit 71, by the way, on I-4. Drive a very short ways. Disney's exit 67. Okay, Emily Arena's exit 82. By the way, the Magic played to 94% capacity. For those who are wondering, well, does Orlando support the Magic? They've been a horrible franchise for a decade. They played to 94% capacity this year. And Pat's right. I mean, Orlando, when you and I moved to Florida in the late 1990s, in terms of television market size, Orlando was in the mid-30s. As he said now, 17th. And that's right, Tampa, Miami. Tampa and Miami are all between like 13 and 18. So that's how big that area's gotten.
By the way, Orlando City, the MLS team there, has a huge following.
Yep. Now you got to, I mean, it's a totally different demographic, trendy, younger, the whole deal. Downtown, they do. It's not quite Portland and Seattle, but people do get together downtown and walk to the soccer matches there.
Yes.
It's a thing.
It's a beautiful stadium too.
Yeah. And not only that, I think the women's team actually draws a few people.
Yes.
Which, you know, doesn't happen in most places.
The shoe fits is what I think you guys are trying to say.
Well, because Tampa has offered up nothing.
Right. No offense.
And I think if I'm Sternberg here, I think this is great for Sternberg. He's got a viable alternative now. I mean, he really does. He's got a viable alternative. If he doesn't like what he's hearing, and quite frankly, I mean, like you said, and you know, you gritted your teeth. Orlando or St. Pete, you know, that's the other thing. Say there's nothing coming out of Tampa to take the team away from St. Pete. Well, now there's Orlando. And if Pat Williams is really paying attention, Mark, they're second to Nashville. They are.
And I think a clear second, by the way.
Nashville's 250 miles from Atlanta. All right. And obviously, it's, you know, Nash Vegas, the whole deal, how trendy it is and all that. Major League Baseball would much rather have the expansion team in Nashville than Orlando, in our opinion.
There's a baseball history there. They've had a AAA team forever.
The Nashville Sounds, they've drawn 1 million people. Right. I think this is a problem for St. Pete. Because this is real. If Orange County says thumbs up to the $975 million, this is a real problem.
Miller and Moulton. We'll ask Seth Everett what he thinks about this possible relocation expansion to Orlando, among other things, as he joins us next right here, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just worked with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, man.
Hey,
Were you
do me
there?
a favor. At the end of this segment, remind me, I put a water in the freezer.
Okay.
I figure it'll be cold by the end of this segment. But if I forget about it and
Right.
go finish sports with friends,
Right.
it will be an ice cube.
Okay.
This
Seth.
is where the priorities of my life lie.
So, water in freezer. Got it. Were you there last night?
Yeah.
Daughters?
Yeah. Yeah. One kid is when we were in the car, she said, I got 200 pictures of Jack Hughes in warm-ups. The other one was, at least we beat the Rangers.
There you go. There you go. That's how you handle playoff disappointment.
I said only one team ever gets to be happy. So if it has to end, it has to end. The NHL, it was funny. I was listening to a media podcast and they were talking about the matchups and how the NHL could literally get the lowest rated final and basically, stick its middle finger up to the US and say, if it was Toronto, Edmonton, they'd get 100 million people in Canada and not care if anybody watched in the US. And they're not getting that. Like, now they're not going to get that. Like, they are praying Edmonton makes the finals.
Oh, yeah.
Praying.
Because if not, they've got nothing on that side.
Carolina, Florida? I look, from a hockey standpoint, I'll watch every game.
Right, yeah. The three of us are in, right.
We're the P1s, but
yeah,
no one's watching that.
No.
And
I mean, I will say, because I used to live in Raleigh, I still have friends there. My son's there. The Carolina following's terrific.
Yeah.
They're all in. They watch. They go to bars. I mean, they are in. Even like my son's an hour and a half from Raleigh. There are people going out watching Hurricane games in Greenville, North Carolina. That's impressive.
Yep.
But from a national standpoint, holy crap.
They I didn't like the way they handled John Forsland. I don't like the way they wear the Whalers jerseys. There's things about Carolina I don't like. I would like them to win on Thursday because Saturday is my wife's birthday, and to rearrange her birthday dinner that is also a quasi Mother's Day invite with my mother to cover Game 6 where they're going to just lose there. Do me a favor, please. Can you do me a solid and just put me out of my misery here?
Well, Carolina was up 3-1 against the Islanders, and the Islanders won Game 5 in Carolina.
I know. This series has been all blowouts.
I know.
It's been ugly.
You know what, though, Seth? And I said it, like I'm glad the Heat, in a way, are doing to the Knicks what they're doing because the Knicks are a good team.
Right.
But if they had taken advantage of the Heat injuries and actually made it all the way to the conference finals, the Knicks might think they're better than they are.
Yep.
And the Heat are giving the Knicks organization a reality check.
Yep.
Okay, you guys beat the Rangers, which is awesome. But your goaltending's terrible. You need at least one more defenseman.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, Luke will be the defense. They don't need to get a defenseman.
No, you need a defenseman. Okay, not a guy who's going to go out there and try to be Adam Fox. You need a defenseman. You're not good in front of your net, and you need a goalie.
And you need a Pat Maroon.
Yeah, and the good thing, yes,
you need a third, fourth liner with grit who's been there before.
And if I were you guys, when the Rangers got Goodrow and Maroon leaves in free agency, I'd sign them both and I'd get a goalie and I'd be done with it.
Yeah, get a goalie.
And then maybe at the trade deadline, acquire a defensive defenseman.
Yeah.
And you can win the damn cup.
I hear you. It's a growth process.
But in a way, though, I'm glad this has happened in the Carolina series so that the organization doesn't actually think they have a goalie because they don't.
They don't. No. Nope. They do not.
Lindy Ruff was he had a look on his face was like, what the hell is this?
What am I supposed to do?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
$22 until the hour is up. It's our last segment along the network in Lake City, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. The bonus hour awaits in the 239. Seth Everett, it's a Wednesday at this time. He joins us. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twitter at Seth_Everett. Is that
Save the best for last?
Is that a Justice League t-shirt?
Justice League of America.
You're in your mid-40s, correct?
Yeah.
So when you wear t-shirts like that, does anybody look at you as if to say you're a little too old to be wearing a Justice League America shirt?
Well, are you talking about in my family or?
Well, no.
Both.
Listen, I know what my morning is. I'm going out later. I'll change before I go out of the house. But this is I'm late because of the game last night. I have to finish Sports with Friends. It's about at the 5-yard line. I just got to put some finishing touches on it. And that's number one. And then number two is I like to wear fun T-shirts to come on your show. So, that was the motivation.
So you make wardrobe. So basically you make wardrobe changes throughout the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
You can call me like the Britney Spears of podcasting.
Because I'm guessing this is not something Miller and Moulton have ever discussed. See, once I put the shirt on at whatever time, that's it, man. That's the shirt for the day. Yeah. And Seth, you know me, I'll even wear it through spilling something on it in the middle of the day.
That's right. That's right. No, I'll it depends on what I have to do during the day. I'm gonna go see a buddy, have a beer or two. I'm not gonna wear a Justice League shirt out later.
Why not? It's a buddy. He knows who you are.
He does. We'll probably talk superheroes at some point.
Do you ever, in a conversation like that, when you go down a rabbit hole because you're into all these things, do you ever go, I wonder who's looking at us in the middle of a public place when you're breaking down Superman for the 84th time?
No, that happened recently. Where was it? Oh, I was at a bar mitzvah, and someone said to me, "Oh, that Black Panther 2 was wonderful." I said, "Excuse me?" And he said, "Why, you didn't like it?" And I said, "Oh, they did the character T'Challa all wrong." I said, "Killed him off screen?" I said, "He's Black Panther. That's ridiculous." And I went into this whole diatribe, and I was getting my face was turning all red and all this stuff. And the guy was just like, "You're very passionate about this stuff."
That's when you have to introduce yourself. Yes. My name is Seth.
Yep.
I'm guilty as charged. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No question about it. Listen, the three of us are hockey guys.
Yeah.
All right. Mark's team didn't make the playoffs. My team got beat by your team. Your team's
Yeah.
about to go home. All right.
Probably.
And there's not going to be a team left that it basically anybody watches.
Yeah.
Does it matter? I mean, you got the TV contracts are locked in. They're cashing. ESPN and Turner combined are giving the league $700 million a year, whether or not anybody's watching the finals or not. Does it matter?
Not really. I mean, you want to do well. You had a great first round. Ratings were up. I think it was like 33% or something like that.
It was terrific.
So you had a great first round. You want to capitalize on that momentum. This is where I struggle with it because I'll watch no matter what. I don't care. I think the playoffs have been great. The second round has been a lot more blowouts than the first round. If I'm going to be critical of other sports, NBA, I'll be critical of the sport that I watch a lot. When the games are lousy, the games are lousy. The NBA has had some good ones recently, but they've had some 30-point blowouts and like. Bad sports are bad sports. The reality of it is the matchups are not sexy by any stretch of the imagination, like what the NBA has. The NBA has, Steph and LeBron, and they have Celtics and Sixers and Heat and Knicks, all these great made for TV matchups, and their ratings represent it regardless of the on-court product, whether the games are good or not. People are watching. Hockey doesn't have that luxury.
No, and I think hockey's got to be pulling hard for Edmonton right now because the one thing, at least in this country, we've shown whether it's a World Cup final, when it's a game of consequence, we watch, and when it's a star, we watch. They need McDavid and Draisaitl to get their act in gear here and start taking it to Vegas, don't they?
Yeah, they got thumped on Monday night. I watched a good chunk of that. I tried not to. I just couldn't turn my eyes. Tonight's a big one for them. Again, down 2-1 in a game 4, you either make a series. Darryl Hamilton used to say when it was 2-2, you wanted it to go 7 with triple overtime. But when it was 3-1, you wanted it to be over. And that's the drill. That's what game 4s are. Game 4s are great. They can be great. Last night stunk, but hopefully for the Oilers, they make a fight of this.
I do not want to get political. I just want to talk media.
Sure.
/ broadcasting.
Sure. Did Tucker move his show to Twitter? Is that what you want to ask me?
Yes. And
okay.
No. I'm very serious about this. How significant could this be? He has a following. They will
7 million followers.
Right. They will follow him.
Sure.
They will watch him wherever it is he was going to go.
Yep.
He announced last night he's going to Twitter. Yep. Unless I'm missing something, isn't this a first of its kind essentially for Twitter? Okay, in which you are the main outlet for programming. Has that ever been done before where you're the main outlet for programming?
Not really. There are people who do videos, they're influencers and such.
Right.
But never somebody, I don't know if this is going to be a long form thing. I mean, I don't follow him. So I'm
not getting
I don't
into
know. No, I understand.
Content.
What I'm saying is I haven't seen what he's put up so far. So I don't know. Is it going to be 30 minutes long? Is it going to be 60 minutes long? Is it going to have commercials? Is it going to is he going to be tweeting ads? I don't know how it's going to work. Like, how is he?
And he has a non-compete with Fox. There's that whole end of it too.
I read somewhere that he's foregoing $25 million to do a Twitter to do a video and whatever. The idea to me, if you're going to do some kind of a live broadcast, is it something that we're thinking in terms of linear, in terms of will there be ads in the content, or will it be
okay?
something
Well,
that posts on the screen?
Let's make
There's
an
all
assumption.
that.
Let's make an assumption. I mean, Elon spent $44 billion. He's trying to make sure that it's profitable. He obviously is going to pay Tucker something, I'm guess, unless they're
He's
doing...
not paying Tucker. He's
okay,
not.
so you think it's a revenue share? I mean,
No,
there has to be money coming in for one or both parties. So I'm assuming
I think
there will be
sponsors that
some
left
form
Fox,
of advertising.
Sponsors that left Fox when Tucker left will pay
right.
Tucker now on this new show. What I'm saying is, how are the ads being presented? Are they going to be promoted tweets?
Does it matter? I mean,
Well,
doesn't matter. I'm just talking about, I mean, think about it. If somebody does a 30, 40, 50, 60-minute show, and he's not going to do it once a week, I don't think. He's going to do it a minimum 3 times a week, if not more. I'll bet he does 4 nights a week. He won't work Fridays, would be my opinion. He'll do Monday through Thursday, will be my guess.
Is it going to be at night? Is it going to be during the day?
Wouldn't you do it at 8 o'clock if you were him?
I guess.
mean, that's when people...
I don't know, because I'm part of the point Seth is talking about here. At least I think, I mean, we do it on our show. We take clips. We may take, if this clip,
that's what I'm saying. Is it going to be live?
This clip and we're going to promote it. Now, if we put if we had a sponsor to put on that, then you're adding to that audience.
When you play your clips, let's just say a 30-second ad aired before every one of your clips, right?
Right.
If that happens with him, is his broadcast going to be a series of 5-minute sponsored clips?
Well, his audience will sit through ads, Seth. I mean, it will.
No, that's not what I'm saying. How is he presenting it?
Does it matter?
I don't know that he's coming out and going, okay, we're live, and it's live on Twitter only, not YouTube, not Twitch, not any other thing. And is he putting the audio out as a podcast? Hey, again, that's not political. There's just saying, I'm taking my show to Twitter. Was that a press release?
No, he made the announcement on Twitter.
Mazel. Great. What I'm saying is, I want to see what he does before I could say whether anybody would follow suit. Because there are people with massive followings that have more followers than him that could benefit if this model works. If it turns out to be a profitable venture, then I think that he could change the vernacular somehow. But I don't know what he's trying to do. I can't imagine he's going to do 60 minutes on Twitter. And I can't imagine he's going to take breaks. Is he going to say, all right, we'll be right back? And then he's
probably
just
to play
have
a spot or two. Yeah, probably to play a spot or two. I would if I were him. Let's just say
he's paying that crew.
Let's just say I have 4 things I want to talk about. I'd take 3 breaks. They only have to be 60 seconds. I just need to, take a sip of water, regain my thoughts, say, okay, the Ukraine next, boom, and go.
When I did that 60-minute show that Prince produced back in 2013, we didn't have breaks, we didn't have commercials, and I would have water. And I was so afraid about labels, I would have these kind of cups. And eventually,
solo cup for those on our radio audience.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, just trying to paint a picture here, Seth. It's the radio play-by-play guy in me.
And eventually, I got lazy, and I would start, drinking water bottles, and then I got even lazier, and I would start drinking Mountain Dew. And the people in the audience started telling Prince that I had a Mountain Dew sponsorship. And the Prince management reached out to me, and they literally were like, "Are you sponsored by Mountain Dew?" I was like, "Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. That'd be great. Do you know anybody in Mountain Dew that would sponsor me?"
By the way, speaking of the artist formerly known as Prince, all right, did you hear the joke that Hugh Bonneville from Downtown Abbey, okay, he hosted some formalities with this whole, Charles and Camilla becoming king and queen, okay, and apparently he needed to fill for a little bit because I think Kate and William were late. And so one of his jokes was he looked at Charles and he said, and the artist formerly known as Prince.
Oh, God. Yeeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No segue there other than what do you have with sports with friends, Seth?
Yeah. Wow. Hey, you think that Pat Williams would be a good guest?
That's a solid
fun guy.
Wow. I don't think we comment about your guest list, by the way. If we get to, let me know.
I wasn't mocking it. I literally think Pat
okay.
Williams would be a great guest.
Well, he would. I mean, if you want to talk about bringing baseball to Orlando, he'd do it.
I think I would.
I'll give you his number.
I think I would.
Okay.
I think it's an interesting topic. I didn't hear him. I heard you guys after him, and I thought it was great.
All right, quickly. No, seriously. Do you agree with us that this is a problem for Tampa St. Pete?
Yes. I agree with you that there's no other options. And the Montreal thing was only real if they could be a full-time move. That Sternberg was going to have to sell the team, and they were going to move full-time to Montreal. That the players wanted. The players didn't want the half at half. But what they did want was they wanted to leave Tampa, and they wanted to go to Montreal full-time. And at the time that was presented, the Canadian dollar was like triple what it is now.
All right. Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Go.
Mitch Evans, Formula E driver. Since we recorded it, he has won 2 races and finished in second the third time. It's the Sports with Friends blessing. So now that we're posting the podcast, watch, he'll finish in 3 consecutive last place. Hall of Justice, we talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and some obscure comic book references that are in that movie so that they satisfy every fan, the super nerd and the regular casual fan. It's a fantastic film.
They have spent a boatload of money promoting it. That is for certain.
Yeah. It's a good movie, though. It's really good.
Seth, we leave you with 2 things. First off, Mark has informed all of us today is National Shrimp Day. So when you and your buddy go out for a beverage, maybe you should have some shrimp, at least an appetizer. And secondly, you wanted us to remind you put a water in the freezer. Yes. So you have to go and take it out before it explodes.
Yes, it would be an ice. It would be a block of ice if I forgot.
So just wanted to remind you. Get out of here.
It's a hell of a freezer you have. Must be Sub-Zero. Thanks,
No,
Seth.
I left it in my car.
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twitter at Seth_Everett. Don't take the Justice League America t-shirt off all day. Just collect
pick
comments.
your kids up from school and that should make them happy.
Yeah, look at my dad. He's cool. Look at that t-shirt.
Oh, he is.
Miller and Moulton. If you missed any part of the show, Pat Kirwan last hour, Pat Williams at the beginning of this hour, and of course, Seth. Download it, floridasportsnetwork.com. It'll be posted shortly after we are done. To those along the network, we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see whether or not the Heat and the Panthers have made it into the conference finals. The bonus hour is next.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686. or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Damn.
Yep, Giants Eagles 425 on Christmas. So you don't have that one, David. It's on Fox.
Damn. Because I was hoping that I could see my mom. Shit.
Well, it doesn't mean the Jets won't be.
Well, that would be great.
I mean, you're not dead yet.
Because that would have been perfect.
Maybe you'll get lucky. It'll be Jacksonville, and you can just stay home.
I'd rather go see my mom.
Okay, but if it's not the Jets, Jackson will be a better alternative than, say, I don't know, Seattle.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jackson. There's only two good options now: Jets and Jacksonville. Damn.
Thought you had that one, didn't you?
That was the word that we were told. The Eagles were getting the Christmas night game, and that would not have been an NBC game. Damn. Svita, Joe's stats guy was thrilled. He lives in Philly.
Right.
Bill Garrity, his spotter, he could fly up the day for a direct flight Atlanta to Philly at, an hour and a half. Would have been great. Ah, damn. I was looking forward to that.
At least that's what they're putting out there.
I mean, if they they released that.
Thought I saw it on an NFL. Yeah. Yeah. Merry Christmas from the NFL. 425 on Fox. I mean, that's Schefter's, but I saw the NFL with the same one. Too many people are tweeting it out.
Did they announce the other games? I was told there's 3 games. I was told 1 and 8:30 also.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Lot going on for a hump day in May. Wouldn't you agree? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. First off, can the Heat and the Panthers win tonight and make it to the respective conference championships? Panthers haven't been since 96. For the Heat, it'd be the 3rd time in 4 years. Heat and Knicks tonight. New York's a 3.5-point favorite. We have no idea why. Although Mark nailed that one. He called it outside of the half. He was all over it. And Panthers trying to sweep the Leafs. By the way, here's very quickly. I know the 9 people care about the Leafs, but they beat Tampa. They got out of the first round, but there's thought now if they get swept that everybody who would have gotten fired if they didn't get out of the first round is going to get fired now that they got swept in the second round. Do you think that'll happen?
People will be fired if they're swept.
So if they can win tonight but then lose in 5 or 6, you think they hold on to their gigs?
Maybe.
How about they lose in 6? They win tonight. They win at home. Okay. Hope. And then they lose.
That would be the best case scenario. But I keep seeing that their coach is getting gassed.
I know.
And to me, I don't know how you fire their GM. All he did was bring in every player you wanted him to bring in at the deadline. They played really well. They beat the Lightning. And they get upset by the Panthers. And that's the general manager's fault? Someone's got to explain that one to me.
Best roster in 30 years. I don't know what else a general manager is supposed to do but put the roster together, right?
So that one, I have a problem if they fire the general manager. If I were a team looking for a general manager, I would be waiting to see if they fired him, and I would snatch him up in a nanosecond.
But Panthers looking to, they've won 6 in a row. Lucky number 7 would put them in the conference final and give them, an extra day of rest. And that's also, by the way, if you're a Heat fan, if you think Philly's going to close out Boston tomorrow night at home, win tonight, because the NBA is going to want to have games on the weekend. Mark, I think if the Heat win tonight and the Sixers win tomorrow, I think game 1 Heat-Sixers is Sunday. But I also think, Mark, if the Heat lose tonight and the Sixers win tomorrow, since the game's going to be in Philly, I think there's a possibility. Let's just say the Heat have to wrap things up in game 6 on a Friday. I think they may force the Heat to play game 1 Sunday. This is all
for it.
It's about television after all.
And that's the best day of the week for television ratings.
Right. So not sure which network has what conference, by the way. Usually, they alternate. So not sure which network has, Felipe would probably remember what network televised game 7 last year, Heat Celtics.
ESPN. Philly, there's this thing called a microphone, and it really helps if you turn the volume up so that we can hear you.
So ESPN had it last year. Yeah, it's not working. So I guess Turner then would have it this year, which at least would probably be Sunday night. Would give the Heat a little more rest. But I would think the NBA, if the Sixers win tomorrow, they are going to want to start the conference finals on Sunday.
We have more football games to announce, though, David. Who cares about potential NBA and NHL playoff games? I have NFL schedule announcements to make.
You do know they're not playing for another 4 months minimum, right?
Don't care, David. It's the NFL schedule, and there are leaks.
Mark, the Heat and the Panthers are like playing tonight, and then they're going to play again later in the week.
You don't want to know who's playing on New Year's Eve?
Is this a bowl game?
No, this is the National Football League.
New Year's
over another day, David.
New Year's Eve's a Sunday this year, so my guess is just about everybody's playing.
But Kansas City will take on Cincinnati in Week 17.
Is that a prime time or is that?
No, it is not.
That's the
CBS.
one game. That's the one game CBS gets to say, we are keeping this one. You cannot touch it.
And much to your chagrin, David, the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles are playing on Christmas Day on Fox.
Damn. I thought we were getting that one at night. Just going to get a chance to go home see my mom for Christmas.
But Black Friday has been announced as well.
Oh, okay. This is Amazon only.
Dolphins, Jets.
Where?
Dolphins at the Jets.
They are trying to take care of Amazon a little bit. Amazon asked for a Black Friday game. They gave it to them, and they gave them one that people will be interested in.
3 p.m. on Friday, November the 24th on Prime Video.
There you go. All right. How much better is the NFL's life that the Giants managed to squeak out a wild card win last year and the Jets got Aaron Rodgers? Oh my goodness. They get to actually put the New York teams in desirable television spots. They haven't been able to do this for basically 12 years.
And now, is that considered a prime time game?
What one?
Black Friday.
No, that's just no. That's not a primetime game. I don't believe so. Although, since Amazon doesn't have a Thursday game that week because of Thanksgiving, I'll have to look into that as to whether or not that counts. It should, if you think about it.
I would think that it does.
Well, we'll know by tomorrow night because we'll be able to add up the Jets primetime games because they're getting 5. And then we'll see how many others get flexed. But they're getting the max. This will be interesting, by the way. How many times you put the Packers on if you're the NFL?
0.
Seriously?
One Thursday.
That's it?
Yes.
I'm just asking. Remember, we have watched an inordinate amount of New England Patriots the last 3 years. Now, we knew Tom Brady was no longer there, but the NFL schedule maker apparently didn't. And not only have they been
Thursday night Packers-Bears game, David.
Okay. Yeah, but you know what I'm getting at here.
No, I know.
So that's it. I mean, they do have a significant following.
They do. Would you put more, you're high on the Steelers. The Steelers are going to be picked to be a last place team this year in their division.
It's just unbelievable to me.
But, okay, at best, they're going to be picked to be a third place team.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They going to get their 5 primetime games?
They'll get at least 4. Mark, we had Steelers Colts day after Christmas on Monday Night Football last year. You know why? Because it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why. So, yeah. I think they get at least 4.
So do you think the Packers will get 2 or 3 then based on the following?
I think you're more right than I am. Okay. That I wondered if for a year the NFL would just reflexively say people will be curious to see how Jordan Love does life after Rodgers. Kind of the way that first year after Brady left, the Patriots got all those primetime games and we were all like, really? And the NFL was like, well, people have been watching Patriots games for 20 years. They're kind of interested. And if you think about it, we've been watching Packers games for damn near 30. So now all of a sudden we're going to go cold turkey from the Packers? Hell, you got Bears, Vikings, and Lions fans who hope they're in prime time to watch them lose. They haven't watched them lose enough for 30 years.
Well, I do think you're onto something there with the Packers. If they do put them in prime time, you're going to see division games.
Yeah, probably. My pick's 2. They get 2 prime timers.
One Thursday, one Monday.
I just hope it's not a Monday. It better not be in December or January. You want to talk about frosting us, okay? Wait a minute. You're sending us to Green Bay when it's cold and there's not a Hall of Fame quarterback? You blankety blanks.
They probably, because they like Lambeau. They like the Lambeau leap. They like the idea that there could be snow.
Yeah,
I know. You're onto something. That's pretty pictures right there.
Yeah, how about Thursday? Give it to Al. Okay, give it to Al and Kirk. Okay, give it to Amazon.
Already got a texter going, why the hell would that game start at 3 p.m. on a Friday and not 6 or 7? Makes no sense to me.
It's Black Friday.
I'm surprised it's not 4:25, to be brutally honest with you, that it's not
Really?
a normal NFL time slot.
Well, I will say this. This is the first Black Friday game that they've played. When the NFL experimented 4 years ago, Mark, 2019 was when they decided, you know what? We're going to put a game on Christmas Day. And it was the Vikings at the Saints. And they kicked it off at 3:00. They didn't know how it would go. They were like, you know what? We're going to throw this out there. I think, Mark, Fox was like the only network that raised their hand and said, we'll do it. I mean, the networks were like, okay. And Fox said, yeah, sure, we'll do it. Vikings, Saints. Saints were good. Vikings were not. Camaro scored 6 touchdowns. 3:00 Christmas Day. Ratings were monstrous. And I wonder if they're doing that same thing, giving Amazon the same slot. Let's just see how this goes.
Yeah, I would have played it at night, 7, 8 o'clock personally. But what do I know? I wouldn't have had the draft on Thursday either. So it's not like I'm that smart.
Yeah, moving the draft to Thursday. What a dumb idea. Never work. Stretching out over 3 days. Idiots.
I don't know how many more leaks I'll trust. Now that we've got the Black Friday out, the standalone game for Fox, the standalone game for CBS, and the international games, I don't know how many schedule leaks I'll be trusting from now until when the show starts tomorrow night. Miller and Moulton. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when. What's on tap? All still ahead as we finish things out on a hump day right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN play of the day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the play of the day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka play of the day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
That's Clutch with a K. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my microphone. Can you hear me?
Barely. Look at the thing.
It's weird. I don't know. I'll talk to Chris about it.
Yeah, you're like on a level of 1 to 10, you're at like a half.
That is very strange.
Felipe, who has been the most important role player in the playoffs? Strus, Martin, Love, or Vincent?
All. Martin.
He's winning the vote right now on a little 5. What is it? That 5 Reasons Sports. That
Martin hit a shot over Giannis in game 4 late that shifted the tide in that game, which was a game that we ended up winning.
Oh, I know, Canada Relief, and they got screwed several times in those lotteries. That 4, they had the worst record, didn't win the lottery. They have it's a fact that they've lost more spots in the lottery, I think, than any team. I don't know if it's in any team in history, but they've lost basically the maximum number of spots that they can lose. And then they fixed it so that Chicago gets Connor Bedard. Whatever.
Coming back.
It's the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when, along with our final thoughts and predictions coming up in a little less than 20 minutes' time. We've spent a decent amount of time today talking about Pat Williams, who brought the Magic to Orlando 2 generations ago, being all in on trying to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando. He did some media yesterday, unveiled the stadium design, 45,000 dome stadium. It's going to be near SeaWorld. And he said, we'd prefer an expansion team, but we'd take the Rays. Mark, the Rays, can we assume they'll have a winning season this year? We willing to go that far out on the limb?
I'm willing to make that bet.
Okay. So that means since 2008, when they had their breakthrough first winning season and went to the World Series, this will be 16th season. They will have had a winning record 12 of those 16 years. In 2 of the years they finished below 500, they had 80 wins. So they were 80 and 82. They've only had 1 season in the last 16 in which they won less than 77 games. So they've been a good franchise. That's fair to say, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Since 2008, this is where they ranked in American League attendance. 3rd to last, 4th to last, 6th to last, 2nd to last, last, 2nd to last, last, 3rd to last. That was during the pandemic year. 2nd to last. This year, believe it or not, they're 8th out of 15 teams. They're averaging just under 18,000 a game. You prorate that sucker out if they can average 17, 8, 19, which is apparently what they're averaging. And if you parlay that sucker out over 81 games, I think you're looking at about 1.4 to 1.5 million, which for the Rays is a lot. It's 4,000 more people than went to every game last year, by the way. But you get the idea. It ain't working.
Nope. Despite good television numbers, good radio numbers, all the other things that go along with it, attendance has never been there for this team. It just has not.
That's a generation. And that's a generation of winning, by the way. 12 out of 16 winning seasons, 14 out of 16 where you won 80 or more games. So once again, if Orange County gives this Orlando Dreamers, which right now would be the name of the baseball team, thinking expansion, Pat Williams wants to call the team the Orlando Dreamers. My guess is they'd come up with a different name, but whatever. He's asking for $975 million from the county through hotel and bed taxes, and then they'll come up with the other $725 million. They'll build this stadium. If Orange County tentatively says, yeah, we're good for it, Mark, once again, if you're Stu Sternberg, St. Pete or Orlando, this is a real problem for St. Pete.
I think it's a huge problem for St. Pete because obviously St. Pete is not Tampa in terms of market size.
Bingo. And, if it works in our market, everybody thinks we need to be in Tampa, blah, blah, blah. I mean, how about this? Would you be willing to agree with this? If Orange County, which is, I believe, the county that Orlando is in, if Orange County gives thumbs up to essentially the $1 billion to build this, doesn't that end baseball in St. Pete? Because if you were Sternberg, and if most of us were Sternberg, wouldn't we then say, well, hell, I'll choose Orlando over St. Pete. The only way I'm staying here is if you get me something in Tampa.
Well, that's what it does to me. It doesn't necessarily put the nail in the coffin of St. Pete, Tampa. It does of St. Pete.
Bingo. And right now, we got nothing in Tampa, basically.
Correct.
We got a bunch of plans and what have you, and the mayor has endorsed what his plan would be. And here's the other thing, if I'm Sternberg, because right now there's $725 million that's unaccounted for in this Orlando plan versus how much is unaccounted for in St. Pete. It's a lot. I don't want to spend any of my own money. I think I have a better chance of not spending any money moving. Come on, Mark. You've been through this game before.
We all have watched it happen. The city that you're in typically isn't the one offering all of the high dollar toys, if you will.
Right.
Is Oakland offering the high dollar things to the Oakland Athletics? Were they at any point in this negotiation? Not really.
Couldn't you see this phone call? You're Pat Williams. I'm Sternberg. I pick up the phone and I say, Pat, I'm not giving you a dime. I'll give you the franchise. And by give it, I mean I'll move it. I'll move the franchise. I'll move the organization. You got to finance the stadium. All of it. All of it. What part of all of it are you not hearing? But if you do it, I'm coming. Because if I'm Pat Williams, that's what I would say. I would do what the Ravens did to Modell. You leave the plane, the deal is off. We've given you everything you've asked for. Sign it. And if I'm Pat Williams, that's what I'd do. I'd say, I'll find the $725 million. Sign it. Not a dime, Stu. Not a dime, but you're bringing the team.
And obviously the next thing Stu would want is the similar. I mean, because you have to remember, the reason nothing's happening with Tampa and the reason Sternberg isn't doing anything is that he is getting paid handsomely by St. Pete. This deal is set up incredibly well for Ray's ownership. So he's going to get a deal that's similar wherever he goes, whether it's Tampa, whether it's St. Pete, whether it's Orlando. Sternberg's driving the bus as to how he's getting paid off of this deal.
For what it's worth, in the nearly 24 hours since Pat Williams went public, press conferences and everything yesterday, ton of media attention in Orlando and Orange County. What's the first response? Thumbs up from the politicians and from voters. They're in. Because remember, it's it's hotel bed taxes. They're saying, Mark, this is what we talked about with spring training in Collier County. This ain't coming out of, the Naples taxpayer. It's like, I'm not right. It's not your money. You're not paying for this.
No, they're just allocating where the bed taxes are going.
Yeah, that's all. And every proposal was not taking money away from anything where money was already going. They were adding a penny. The penny was going towards this project. When the project was paid for, the penny goes away, in theory. We all know government.
Although it never does.
Yeah. Well, okay, then great. Then you put that money towards a pet project of something else. But it ain't costing a Collier County taxpayer any money, unless all of a sudden you feel like getting a hotel room tonight.
Which is never a bad idea.
Well, no. I mean,
once every 4 months, you should spend the night in a hotel just because.
Sometimes you got to make it happen.
Little road trip.
Sure. Room service. Little mint and chocolate on the pillow. Those slippers. Kind of nice.
Boy, I could totally see you in the nice hotels going robe and slippers right away.
I never go slippers. I never put on a pair of slippers.
I think it's a mistake on your part.
My feet are too fat. They don't fit.
Miller, Moulton, and 4 fat feet. We'll do the good, the bad, and the ugly What's on tap, and today was a day win. That's next right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Excuse me. Yeah, that logic. I'll tell you what. You know what, Empire. I'm bummed out the Cubs never, or the Braves and Cubs never came. But after going to that sports complex, I'm guessing it gets a lot more use than a spring training complex would. That thing was packed when I was there. It's packed all the time from what I understand. It's a lot going on there. Because Naples didn't want it, RCB. It's as simple as that. And Michael, you know, if I'd have had my way when the Bonita Springs Dog Track closed down, that would have been the Naples Horse Park. We'd have had a similar season as Saratoga. Obviously not in the summer, but a short season. February and March. I actually think it could have been supported down here. That's the highbrow event that Naples would have loved. No, they never changed their mind. They never built a stadium.
The county was behind the Cubs. They were not behind the Braves.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Kirwan joined us around 7:30. Pat Williams to talk about bringing Major League Baseball to Orlando at 8 o'clock. Seth Everett joined us a little after 8:30. If you missed any of those conversations, go to floridasportsnetwork.com and download our podcasts.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
15:03 we start today. Columbus discovers the Caymans. Immediately deposited as much gold as he could in the banks to not let the kings back in Spain find out. 1797, the first U.S. Navy ship, the United States, is launched. 1869, David, the Golden Spike is driven, connecting the Central Pacific Railroad with the Union Pacific Railroad, giving the U.S. its first transcontinental railroad.
That was big.
That was big. Today in 1915, a Canadian physician prevents the first gas mask invention to the British War Office. 1924, J. Edgar Hoover is appointed head of the FBI.
He only had the gig for 48 years.
1929, Walter Hagen wins his fourth British Open. The British Open, May 10th.
Right.
Churchill succeeds Chamberlain as Britain's prime minister today in 1940.
Yeah, that Chamberlain thing didn't work out at all. Neville was not Wilt. Put it that way.
Today in 41, Whirlaway wins the Preakness. I bring that up because that means that it was probably run the Saturday after he won the Derby.
Right.
This is a kick in the shorts here, David. Today in 1959, I've been trying to find some obscure baseball stats as often as I can. The Giants' Jim Hearn allows 2 runs against the Pirates. The game is suspended. Hearn gets released, The game's replayed or finished 2 months later, and Hearn still gets charged with the loss.
That's tough.
Really is.
That is tough. I do love those games that are suspended from April, May, and get made up July, August, September, and you find out who's been traded, okay, who's been sent down.
Today in 63, on the advice of George Harrison, Decca Records signs this band called the Rolling Stones.
You know, Mark, some tips are better than others.
They really are. Today in 1967, Hank Aaron hits his only inside the park home run off the Phillies' Jim Bunning.
Wow, Hall of Famer against Hall of Famer.
Bobby Orr in overtime. Boston beats the Blues 4-3. The great photo of Orr leaping in the air after scoring the goal was the Bruins' first title since 41 and gives them the sweep over the St. Louis Blues. Today in 73, the Knicks beat the Lakers for the NBA championship in 5.
Their last NBA title.
And the Canadians beat the Blackhawks that same day in 6. Today in 74, the New York Nets beat the Utah Stars in 5 for the ABA championship.
That was Julius, wasn't it?
Yes. Today in 82, WABC plays its last record and then switches to an all-talk format. That last record, Imagine by John Lennon.
Growing up in that part of the world, and you know, the two big stations were AMs, WABC 770 and WNBC 660. You know, so we listened to our music on AM radio all through the 70s and into the early 80s. And when they went from music to talk, Mark, that was a big story. Big.
Laverne and Shirley last aired on ABC today in 1983. Today in 2002, Anaheim beats the White Sox 19-spit. The Angels join the 23 Indians, the 39 Yankees, and the 50 Red Sox as the only teams to beat two opponents by 19 or more runs in the same season. I'm shocked that it's happened 4 times.
And they did go on to win the World Series.
2015, the Players, Ricky Fowler wins.
Remember him?
2018, Rafi breaks McEnroe record for successive set wins on the single surface. 50 straight sets on clay for Rafi.
I'm guessing McEnroe's record was on grass. Would be
on
my
carpet.
guess. Oh, it really? Wow.
And it was a year ago that Tom Brady agreed to a 10-year, $375 million deal to be Fox Sports lead analyst. When that starts, we'll see.
Maybe.
Fred Astaire, Pat Summerall, and Sid Vicious all born today. Jim Calhoun's 81. The singer Donovan is 77. Chris Berman is 68 today. The Mayor
Boomer?
Yeah, the Mayor twins, Phil and Steve, are 66. Bono is 63. Ronnie Cycli is 58. You want to feel old? Young MC, you know, bust a move, David?
Uh-huh.
He's 56. He's not so young anymore.
My goodness.
He's middle-aged MC.
That's almost my age.
Helio Castroneves and Adam Deadmarsh are both 48 years old today.
Got to admit, would you say Cycli was 58?
Yes.
He looks good. You got to, when you see Cycli at those Heat games, you go, yeah, it's a good-looking guy right there. He looks good.
What'd I miss?
No, you actually threw in a bunch of stuff. I will say the very first phone was installed in the White House today in 1877 by Rutherford B. Hayes. So it all started with Hayes. Once we had a phone, then we had to start recording what people were saying on the phones. So that's it.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Toby Finneran He's from England. He vacations in Cape Town, South Africa. Does it every year. He's done it for the last 5 years. But this year, he was walking back from the beach. He noticed a young boy grabbing a buoy. Thought he was messing around, and then he saw him looking panicked and noticed that no one was watching. Then he saw a head bobbing in the surf, and he jumped in the water and rescued both the boy clinging to the buoy and another boy who was not clinging to anything, saving both lives. Said, I didn't have time to think, I just acted. And turned out to be a hero, and that's our good today. For the bad, we go to Estero, where Phil Rice owns PRR Computers and had a break-in his business. According to security footage, a man broke in, fired a computer up at the Wi-Fi, trying to knock the Wi-Fi out and the camera out. Then broke a few more things, trying to get the alarm to stop. Threw some speakers in the toilet, a musical keyboard in the trash, and left the hundreds of dollars of cash that were sitting out in plain sight. The owner thinks, David, wait for it, he may have been on something when he broke into the place.
Man, I hope so. I hope so. Shouldn't you have thought some of this out beforehand? Well, they've got a security camera and they have an alarm. Well, what's your plan? I'm just going to throw a bunch of big stuff at it. Try to break it. Huh.
I usually don't go to a place like this for the ugly, but I couldn't help it.
Uh-oh.
We go to Salt Lake City, where Corey Richens lost her husband March of 2022. She then wrote a book, a children's book, to cope with grief because she had 3 kids. Yesterday, she was arrested for the murder of her husband.
Well, Mark, it is truth in advertising. She wrote the book for the kids. She didn't grieve them at all.
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 10th, 2023.
I mean, you want truth in advertising.
Got that right.
It was the kids missed dad. The wife, not so much.
She went on like Good Morning Utah to promote this book. She was getting publicity.
Sure.
For this book she did.
She wrote a children's book. She's a widow. Of course. It looked good on paper. Wow, that's really nice what you did. Think of the children and the grief. Why do they have grief again? Oh, well, I killed my husband. Now, see, that part she left out. It's tough for Random House to, sell that.
Right. I think we'll be pulling that book off the shelves.
Yeah, I have a feeling. You know what? And who knows? It might be a good read. I mean, so the author's a murderer. We've had him before. Do the Heat get it done tonight?
No.
Wow, look at you. Would you lay the 3.5? Knicks favored by 3.5,
Yes.
7:30 TNT. Wow,
Yeah.
Look at you. Okay, here's the deal. Ever since they lost game 4, there was no way for the Knicks to avoid this. They've been called soft. And there's no way to avoid it. They've been called soft. And if by chance they did avoid it, Thibodeau, I'm sure, made them aware of everything that's been said in the New York Post, the New York Daily News, never mind if they were dumb enough to turn FAN on. Mark, here's the deal. Until there's an incident, I'm betting the Heat. But if we're going to have a Heat Knicks late 90s, early 2000s incident, tonight's the night we'll have it. The Knicks have been called soft by the New York media.
They were called soft by their teammate, David.
Correct. If we're ever going to have the Knicks show up defend their manhood, so to speak, it'll be tonight. If James Dolan was smart, and I'm not playing around, he's at war with Charles Oakley. If I were James Dolan, I'd call Oakley up and say, Oakley, let bygones be bygones. You're sitting next to me tonight. Okay? The Garden would go berserk.
Everything you said is absolutely right about Oakley, and we know that wouldn't happen in a million years.
No, because Dolan's an idiot.
And Oakley would tell him to go shove it. He should.
He probably should, but, some people do like to be loved. Do the Lakers close out the Warriors tonight? Is the dynasty over tonight?
Absolutely not.
Would you lay the 7?
Yes.
So the two home teams are favored tonight, 7:30, 10 o'clock, both on TNT. Both need to win to stay alive. They're both down 3-1. Hockey tonight. Do the Panthers go to the conference finals for the first time since 96?
I don't think so. I think the Leafs have a little more heart. I think they get it done.
Do we know anything about Samsonov?
No.
Can he play, yes or no? I like the Panthers. They're facing a backup goalie tonight. Young kid, okay, who played pretty well in the regular season. He will have had a couple days to get ready for this. But I'll be honest with you, I thought we were going to see a little more vinegar out of the Leafs in Game 3. And that's the game in which I expected to see it. I mean, that the game-winning goal alone shows that they're just not. They're not tough enough. They're too soft. Can't let a guy pirouette at the blue line, have 3 defenders right there, and nobody hit him. Give me a break. Vegas and Edmonton, do the Oilers even the series at 2?
Yes.
I agree with you there. So we differ on Leafs, Panthers. By the way, I'm taking the Heat.
I figured you were.
3.5. So we agree on Golden State and Edmonton. We disagree. I'm taking the 2 Florida teams. You're taking New York and Toronto. We got 9 afternoon baseball games today because it's Wednesday. It's a getaway day. Rays are in Baltimore tonight at 6:35, but the Marlins are playing at 3:40. It's a mighty nooner, so to speak, out in Arizona. 3:40, Marlins and Diamondbacks. Yankees are also playing at 12:35, so the Yankees will be nice and rested. They'll be having dinner before the Rays even throw their first pitch tonight, getting ready for that 4-game series.
See if the Rays can make sure they win this series. Got to get Baltimore tonight to do so. Miller and Moulton, that's a little bit of what's on tap. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk about all the things that happen tonight, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. right here, the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and